Yes, you would think it needs to get better, but if somehow you joined the Big Ten and your deficit got worse, how and why will it get better? What are you going to pull a Signetti? You think Greg Schiano's going to the playoffs anytime soon? Their deficit, Chuck, Rutgers athletics deficit since joining the Big Ten is now a combined $516.9 million. This is
didn't we hear Ohio State last year ran like $35 million in the red? And I'm like, well, they did bring home a title. At least they did it right.
$516.9 million with Big Ten money. For folks who don't know, because Rutgers is like, what is Rutgers anyway? This is the State University of New Jersey.
Yeah, it is.
The flagship university of a state in New Jersey that's got loads of people, loads of money. It's a good academic school. Like, there is no inherent reason Rutgers should just be awful at athletics, and there's certainly no reason Rutgers should be broke. And Chuck, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand how this is possible.
There has to be some sort of capital expense. There has to be something in there that is the outlier, the explanation, because they're simply not good enough. You can purchase competency. Even if you ain't real smart, you can finance decent. And so it sounds like they've been financing pretty good, and it hasn't happened. There's either mismanagement, thievery, or we're missing that they also built $1 billion arena, and we forgot.
Did they make a title loan on the stadium or something? Like, I don't get it. And look, they've even had some success in basketball. Like, it's not like they've totally failed in everything. The football teams at least made bowls. Like, it hasn't been a total failure, and financially it somehow got worse. It's amazing. But Rutgers is what it is, and apparently literally nothing will ever change.
Chuck Oliver Show wraps up on this Tuesday. That's what matters to us today. Presented by This Stuff Matters and Pastor Tom Gray, who's a former SEC player at Vandy. Follow him. ThisStuffMatters.net for me, David, Heath, all of y'all. Take 22 hours, inhale, exhale, get ready, charge batteries, I'm saying, for tomorrow's college football conversation right here on Chuck Oliver Show.
A golf instructor who knows technique can improve an aspiring pro's swing. But one who really cares can help transform a career.
There he is, your new champion.
When you team up with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Chuck Oliver Show back in studio, and it's so much more fun when it's Chuck Oliver Show at Harrah's in North Carolina. We got two spots we've been going to the last few years. Harrah's Cherokee, that's the OG. It's in Cherokee, North Carolina proper. Then there's Harrah's Valley River. That's about an hour away in Murphy, North Carolina. So no matter where you're listening to us in the footprint of the Chuck Oliver Show, you can get your autumn bubble. A few hours later, be pulling into a Harrah's casino in the state of North Carolina. Two choices, easy access, no airport TSA parking, none of that. Just a great chance at golf, spa, restaurants, dice, cards, and, of course, the great Caesar Sportsbook. Walk to the window, use the kiosk, wager on collegiate or pro sports at either spot of Harrah's in North Carolina. Harrah'sCherokee.com.
Must be 21 years of age or older to enter the casino floor and to gamble, and must present a valid state or federal photo ID upon request. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. An enterprise of the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians.
Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. Call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. 810-214-3710. 810-214-3710. That's 810-214-3710.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
This hour of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by Talent Heating and Air. When you need service, rely on Talent. From system installations to tune-ups, rely on Talent. Online at talenthvac.com.
AL cert number 21014.
As we flip the calendar to 2026, the holiday season may have left you a little short in the bank account, but Talon Heating and Air will not leave you out in the cold.
That's right. We're still offering free second opinions and service calls with repairs. In addition to that, we're offering up to $1,600 in TVA rebates.
Very easy to do. If you need that $1,600 rebate, all you got to do is
give us a call at 256-503-4490.
Talon Heating and Air, they're live, they're local, and you can find them online at
talenthvac.com.
Who doesn't need to save
$1,600?
Very easy to do. Again, Talent Heating and Air, the number and the web.
That's 256-503-4490 or talenthvac.com.
It's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. Give them a call today.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Come in, Talkin' Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Happy Wednesday morning, everyone. Safe travels into work, into school, wherever you are headed. Didn't realize, what day was it? Monday didn't realize on Monday that there was a late start to the school. So after we left.
Yeah, 2 hours or something.
After we left here.
It was 2 hours yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday because I was driving down Bob Wallace.
On Monday, and then Tuesday it was 2 hours.
I was driving down Bob Wallace.
It was Tuesday,
and it was like, why is the school zone light thing on?
It's
going home.
They didn't go in until I want to say 10 or 10:30.
Yeah, I was like, well, crap. I guess we had a late start in the school. When you don't have anybody when you don't have anybody going to school, you forget all that.
Well, I did actually see that on the news. It was like, all the schools around here were closed Monday, and then Tuesday it said for Huntsville City 2 hours.
Okay, there we go. That would explain why that was there. 27 degrees right now. Your high today is 43.
There you go. It'll be a balmy 43.
Well, that would be easy. I'm sure our guys from Talent Heating and Air appreciate the fact that the temperature a little bit warmer because they're busy doing installations and all kinds of things. 256-503-4490. They're still not too busy to work for you. So give them a call. Find them online, talenthvac.com. Thomas, Terry, Jeremy, they're live, they're local, and they are just oozing with talent. They've got a lot of it. Talent Heating and Air. Find them online, talenthvac.com. 256-503-4490 to get them on the phone. $49 tune-up special. They got rebates on other things up to $1,600. So give them a call.
Yeah.
256-576-4977. That's the number here to the phone lines. You can join us throughout the 3-hour spectacular edition that we're about to put forth this morning. And we do start you off with SEC basketball last night. 3 games on the hardwood in the conference, and we start with the number 23 ranked team in the country. Alabama gets 7 3-pointers, a career high from Latrell Wrightsell, as they use a strong second half to get by Missouri 90-64. 3 other starters in double figures. LeBaron Philon, 18, 6 assists. Aiden Sherrill, 16, team best 2 blocks. And Charles Bediako, second straight double-figure game with 14 points and 6 boards.
I hope the NCAA like watching it, because I sure did.
I think we need to send him back down to the G League.
Yeah, well, he's obviously been working on his free throws. I enjoyed watching the stroke last night. And I was on press row, and the crowd was decent at best.
Right.
There's still some people staying home, and it's a smaller crowd when they tell you to move on down, if you want to, come on down to some lower level seats. But certainly Alabama got off to a little bit of a slow start, but they took a big lead into halftime over Mizzou, and 42-29, and then basically just dominated them in the second half. And I think the closest Mizzou got was 9.
Yeah.
And so they were able to really stretch the lead out, got it up to 29, I think was the biggest lead of the night. Mizzou had a terrible shooting night. They went 8 of 23 from the free throw line. I mean, I got everybody in the arena got free gooey fries, by the way. If you just sent that little to our good friends or one of our great sponsors, Baumhauer's, if you just sent in your code, you had to be in the arena. But if you send it in, you get free, gooey fries, because they shot so many bricks from the free throw line. If you missed 2 in a row, which they had no problem doing last night in the second half, that's what happens. And Mizzou just had a bad night. I thought Alabama, they went with a bigger lineup. They actually decided to go with Charles Bediako's first start as he's returned to Alabama. And they had a Twin Towers look with him and Aiden Sherrill, put Aiden Sherrill at the 4. And Aiden actually got off to a really good shooting start. He was out on the perimeter, and Missouri was just leaving him wide open. And if anybody's watched Aiden Sherrill, he's a good 3-point shooter. And so they kind of gambled with that, and he was making stuff early. And then Bediako started getting off. Philon kind of let the game come to him. He ended up with 18, but he wasn't ultra aggressive early. Ended up with 11 in the first half, but I thought his floor game was good. He had 6 assists. I think they had 3 guys with 5 assists or more,
they had 19 assists on 26 made baskets, did Alabama last night.
The ball was moving last night. It was moving well. Bediako's fit in. He and Philon have good chemistry as far as the roll into the pick and roll, and him getting to the basket, and they look for him. He's a little bit better finisher around the rim than Sherrill, because Sherrill is more of a below the rim big at times. But Bediako's got a little more length and gets up. But I still thought overall it was a really good performance. And then Sherrill, he got in foul trouble against Tennessee and only ended up with 6. He wasn't on the floor as much, but he definitely got it going last night, and he and Bediako were both in double figures. And I think it makes Alabama an extremely balanced team. It actually has changed them a little bit. They did make 15 threes last night, but the points in the paint, they look to go inside a little more with the size advantage, and with Bediako being able to finish in there a little more consistently. So it's been a good addition for Alabama, as you might be expected. And I thought it was a really good win over a solid Mizzou team that's got a chance to make the NCAA tournament.
Alabama did match its season high for most 3-pointers made in SEC play with 15. That matched the Kentucky output back on January 23rd.
And you mentioned Wrightsell, and I think the 2 bigs kind of helped him. He got space, and He got some open looks, and he's been putting a lot of work in the gym. He's, as you know, he's recovering from the Achilles. He's had some other times where he's been banged up. It was good to see him look like his old self last night, because throughout his career at Alabama, he's been a knockdown shooter, but his biggest issue has been availability, because he's really been hurt all 3 years. If they can get him healthy and back in the lineup,
right?
And Holloway wasn't ultra aggressive offensively last night, even though he returned from with his wrist. I think he ended up with 5. He didn't take many shots, maybe 5 or 6. So hopefully he'll be healthier for Florida. And then they really need to get their best all-around player. And I know some people are probably, Drew, what the hell are you saying? LeBaron Philon. There's a difference. I think LeBaron Philon is the best prospect on the team.
Right.
I think the best player is Amari Allen, and he hasn't been there. They're going to need him when they travel to Mr. Guarantee, Todd Golden, who already got his ass whooped, Saturday. But they're playing South Carolina on the road, who's maybe the worst team in the league. So maybe he'll have his team ready to play, and they'll get a win tonight.
Nate Oates talking last night about the mindset coming in to the game last night against Missouri.
Preparation. I think our guys really, we were 3-3. Nobody signed up to play here to be 500 in SEC play. That's not who we are. It's not the program they walked into. We're averaging 14 wins in SEC play a year over the last 3 years. Everybody needed a wake-up call, including myself. However we were doing it wasn't working. So we spent a lot more time on our preparation, a lot more like mandatory. Got to get in here and study film. Like we needed to earn the win before the game started. I don't feel like we've been doing that in the past. Tonight, we earned this win before the game started. So can we keep our guys locked in, mentally focused in video and walkthroughs and prep like we had going to this? That's going to be the key. And I think we can. It's going to take some leadership with the guys, some of our older veteran guys. Houston, Reitzel, Barron's extremely smart, needs to lead this group. I thought he was better going in this game. Bediako brings a veteran presence, honestly. He walked in and knew the game plan, even the Tennessee one. I mean, literally like 2 days, he had it down. I thought he was great tonight. So, I think the leadership's got to continue to step up and make sure our guys are really focused and locked into the preparation. And you got to have an intensity and an effort in the game to do it. So I thought it was better. And you can't let a little adversity, we had the Barrett throws in 2 threes. We had the 3 straight possessions where they were marginal goaltends. Maybe they got 2 buckets off ones, and maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I haven't seen the video. We had the one that maybe got taken off the back. I don't know. But just you can't let any type of adversity, missed calls, other teams got non-shooters throwing shots in, you miss easy layup you should have made, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Just focus in on getting a stop, and then our offense will flow off our stops, I think.
Nate Oates, post-game last night after that win against Missouri. He mentions unacceptable, 3-3, not what they signed up for. I am sure, and speaking of unacceptable, I am sure losing 80-55 on the road is not acceptable. And I'm referring to 18th ranked Vanderbilt pummeling Kentucky last night, 80-55.
Well, that was part of my trip home, was listening to the reaction of the great crew. And we have a really good relationship with Kentucky Sports Radio.
Yeah.
Jack Pilgrim, that's Tyler Thompson and their whole crew. And Tyler's a Nashville native, and she lives in the city and with her husband, and she went to the game last night, and it was a great crowd, especially considering how hard they've been hit winter weather wise in Nashville. But it was not a great night for Kentucky. I kept following the game because it started a little later than Alabama Mizzou, and It was bad from the start. It was
bad. It was 43-23 at the half.
I can just tell you, I got like 4 updates. It was 7-0 Vandy, and I was like, well, that's not ideal.
Right.
And then I checked at halftime, and it was 43-23. I'm like, good Lord. And then I checked in the middle of the second half, and it was 54 to I think 33. And I was like, this game is over. And so basically that was the thought of the Kentucky Sports Radio folks, is that for the second straight year in Nashville that Kentucky did not show up. And
it's the first time
in a row.
It's the first time since 2008 that Vanderbilt has beaten Kentucky by 17 or more. The last coach that happened with when Kentucky was Billy Gillespie.
Well, and like they said, if we're bringing up Billy Gillespie, then you know that things have gone well for the Kentucky Wildcats tonight. Billy Clyde.
Oh, Nelly.
I think that was, a 2-year run, and Billy Clyde was out of town.
Yeah.
So
is it trending right now in that direction?
I would doubt it with Pope. I mean, and by the way, Pope graced them with 6 whole minutes last night in his post game at the press conference. And that's par for the course when the prick loses. Trust me, I've been part of it. And it gives you like two-word answers.
Well, maybe he too. You know what? He came out and was very, very vocal against Alabama adding Charles Bediako,
basically saying Alabama should forfeit every game. Now it turns out,
and they lose.
Yeah,
Florida. Todd
Golden.
Golden comes out, says shouldn't have happened. They get smoked.
Well, and then the funny thing about Kentucky, then you find out that they're trying to sign Dink Pate out of the G League. So that's what I said. Somebody just slap him and put like hypocrite across his forehead. And I know what he'll say. Well, hey, he never signed a professional contract. He didn't sign a 2-way contract. He never. Well, they'll come up with some BS excuse. It's the same thing, you peckerhead. Win a game. You're just pissed off because Alabama owns your ass and you're 0-4 against them. Shut up, sit down, win a game. You got the highest payroll in college basketball, yet you don't know how to build a team. That's your fault. You and whoever the hell your GM is.
Yeah, you bring up that contract with Dink Pate. They are trying to, according to Jacob Polacek, they are trying to get him. Kentucky staff has been in contact with him.
Yeah, and he's on purpose. And I'm telling this for Dink, and he is on purpose not taking any 2-way contracts because he's trying to preserve his eligibility.
Right.
So
he's even turned down multiple 2-way NBA contracts, as you mentioned, to preserve his eligibility.
But they're trying to get G League guys, but Alabama can't. They're circumventing everything. Shut the hell up.
All right, 7:16 on a Wednesday morning. Let's cash in our first break, shall we? When we come back, 256-576-4977, we'll open the phone lines. Conversation next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. When you need service on your vehicle, whether it's a Ford or any other make, you want to get into Woody Anderson Ford, where their expert service technicians will get it diagnosed and repaired right away, the right way. And while you are there, check out all the new and pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson as well. They are ready to make you the best deal possible. Visit Woody Anderson Ford today.
Woody Anderson Ford on Jordan Lane in Huntsville, Hughes Road in Madison, and online at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
AL cert number 21014.
As we flip the calendar to 2026, the holiday season may have left you a little short in the bank account, but Talon Heating and Air will not leave you out in the cold.
That's right. We're still offering free second opinions and service calls with repairs. In addition to that, we're offering up to $1,600 in TVA rebates.
Very easy to do. If you need that $1,600 rebate, all you got to do is
give us a call at 256-503-4490.
Talon Heating and Air, they're live, they're local, and you can find them online at
TalentHVAC.com.
Who doesn't need to save
$1,600?
Very easy to do. Again, Talent Heating and Air, the number and the web.
That's 256-503-4490 or TalentHVAC.com.
It's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. Give them a call today.
Need tough equipment you can count on? Christopher Equipment has you covered. Whether it's air compressors, trenchers, bucket lifts, concrete tools, generators, skid steers, and more. Serving you with locations in Tullahoma, Shelbyville, Manchester, Fayetteville, and Hazel Green. Christopher Equipment. From job site to backyard, rent or buy. Christopher Equipment delivers the tools you need when you need them. Call 931-455-3900 or visit Christopher.equipment today. Christopher Equipment, powering your project.
Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Is that Saturday Night Fever? Is that from that one? That's John Travolta.
So.
Oh,
I believe so.
Yeah.
Our next guest probably liked that, and I know he and excuse me, our next caller, but we'll go to the lines in just a second. But I know he's really fired up about what happened last night in the Big Ten. We were talking about that off the air.
Yeah. I didn't even. To be honest with you, I hadn't even paid attention because
I saw it. Well, I didn't see the game. I just saw the score as I was monitoring all the SEC stuff. The Bama game, but it's a huge win because Fred Hoiberg, who's I think half his team's from overseas, but anyway,
Iowa didn't play last night, so it was like it didn't. Yeah. The Big Ten didn't register in my radar.
Well, I had not kept up with it, who was on the schedule either. But we had been talking about Nebraska being one of the last 3 unbeatens in college basketball, and that's not going to happen anymore because they lost on the road in Chrysler Arena to the Michigan Wolverines 75-72. And
Trey McKinney, a tie-breaking layup with 1:07 left
Trey
gave
McKinney
Michigan.
Former Auburn Tiger.
Yeah, boy. Whew. Yeah. But that's just I one of these times, and we do it in college football and we do it in college basketball.
Yeah.
It's if you listen to a broadcast, it's this former. Yeah, this former, and that former. I mean, it's just like, good gosh.
And then you were educating me on the fact that Indiana beats Purdue. That's Purdue's second straight loss, and it was in Bloomington, but it was a circus in Bloomington.
They had Kurt Signetti and the football team in town. They honored the national championship team. They had a video montage at halftime. And I mean, look, there was so much snow on the ground in Bloomington. Yeah. They didn't keep anybody away. I mean, Assembly Hall. I tell you what, when Assembly Hall gets full.
Yeah.
Assembly Hall
like 17,000.
Yeah. And it used to be, there was always a rumor back in the day that there's banners on one side of Assembly Hall.
Right.
And because of the way the air vents flow, they would control the air vents in the first half and second half. So when the visiting team would be going towards the banners, there was always a rumor. That the air-conditioned vents, and it would slightly sway just enough to just move the banners there in Assembly Hall. That was the old rumor back in the day. Yeah. Let's go out to the phone lines. Wolverine Dan with us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Congrats, Dan. Good win for the Wolverines.
Well, I appreciate that. But, Drew, you said this. You called me a guest. I'll tell you what, Drew. I think we're family. You guys been there a while, and I know I've been there a very long time with this station and all the people behind the microphone, and it's for me, it's family. So I consider you guys my family. So
yeah, and it was like I say, it was a good win. Didn't get a chance to see it, but certainly Indiana gets a win over Purdue as well. It was a big night in the Big Ten, but a huge win for Michigan because they're going to be on the short list to be a number 1 seed. And anytime you beat one of the last 3 unbeatens, and Hoiberg's done a great job because he was on the hot seat a couple years ago. So it just goes to show you, even in this era, if you're a little patient, you can turn things around big time.
Well,
and big win for Michigan over Nebraska.
Well, there's always a bitterness to bittersweet kind of thing going on here because the Red Wings last night, they pulled the goalie with just a little less than 4 minutes and got a goal. DeBrincat put it in the basket, and then we were just pummeling them. And all the play was in their zone. We had an extra man, and an empty net goal for Kings. They played really well defensively. I like to see the low-scoring game because that means our defense is playing well, and that's what's going to win championships. And Gibson has been played really well. He's won. Actually, I should say I'll jump to the Pistons real quick. The Pistons won last night also, and they've been 9 of 11 last games they played. They're playing really well, and of course, my Michigan Wolverines. I tell you, Drew, and I can honestly say, you must agree. That win was better than your win against Missouri.
Oh, well, yeah. The Mizzou's solid, but, yeah, anytime you beat a team in Nebraska that had reached
it's a top 5 matchup. It was 3-5 last night. I mean, of course, that's a better win than Missouri. I mean,
right now, you got 2 guys as probably in the top 3 or 4 for National Coach of the Year when you're talking about Dusty May and then Fred Hoiberg. I mean, that was honestly the matchup of the night in college basketball. I mean, even though I'll be the first to admit I was monitoring Alabama, monitoring the SEC, when you got a game like that, I mean, it led the way nationally in college hoops.
And I mean, it's in today's world.
Yeah.
You look at everything. You look at what they're spending, and they're getting their money's worth out of Yaxel Lindbergh, the former UAB guy. I mean, it's $3 million to get him on the roster.
They got him he would have probably been a borderline late first-round pick.
Right.
They're paying him big-time NIL money, and I saw him at UAB, and the dude is just he's a stud.
They're getting their money's worth.
Yep.
Well, I agree 100%. Listen, fellas, it's changed the whole format. This fan players, it's just changed everything. Everything that was sacred with sports with me, playing for the team and the honor and the winning championships. It's still there, but not like it is now. I mean, because these guys are making again $1 million in their teens, for crying out loud. And then if you don't, and these players don't get paid enough, they'll just go somewhere else where somewhere else will pay them.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's it's just pro basketball and all this. And your guy that used to play for pros and everything, Botafuco, I don't know. I really don't know how that's going to play out. I got a feeling it's all going to work out in the wash because these days everybody gets paid. So you know what I'm saying? I don't think there's going to be a snag. What do you think?
Nah, Alabama did their homework on this. They know they're not going to have to forfeit. They know I think they realize it's a very, very strong chance they're going to get an injunction and he'll be able to play the rest of the season, which it's hard to believe, Dan, but because of how long the college football season goes now, we just had a national title won by the Big Ten, 3rd in a row with Indiana, on January the 19th. Hell, there's only about 10 regular season games left in college basketball, and then we're going to be having the conference tournaments, and then we're going to have the big dance. So it's just one of those things where the season's almost over, and Bediako will get about when it's all said and done, about a third of the season with Alabama if he gets the chance to finish, and I hope he does. But again, that's just the way it is. And then this is a one-time thing. He's a senior. This is his last semester, quote unquote. So he won't be back. So
the question now is,
go ahead, Dan, real quick.
The question, I'm going to hang up after I say this, but the question is this, and I think this is what Scott's going to say. Hopefully, we're on the same wavelength. So if this goes through, then it's going to go through again and again. Which how can you deny the next person stepping up does the same thing that Botafogo does? Okay.
Well, no, you can't.
But, it is what
it
you
is.
can't. No, so what you're doing, you're setting yourself up for nothing but just it's pro all the way.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Are they paying high school kids or not?
Yeah.
Some states
are.
Some states are.
California, Florida.
Matter of fact, just recently the state of Michigan,
Georgia, Tennessee, Michigan,
where Michigan can pay high school athletes.
Several states.
Well, there you go.
Yep. Not in Alabama yet, but in Michigan, I just heard that the other day that legislation has been passed.
Yep. So my question is, though, what happens to Bediako then after the season? He's done playing at Alabama. Mm-hmm. Does the same G League team own his rights, or does he go back in to the draft? Where does he go from here?
I'll be the first to tell you I don't know. I would think he would be a free agent.
Right.
And then he would.
Is this a way then for some of these guys to circumvent you don't like your current deal?
He's not going to be back in the draft.
Right.
Okay. So he would have college film, and he'd be able to, or he might go overseas. You never know. I mean, he'll be a free agent, and he would be able to just field his opportunities and see if who knows? Going to Europe, and he is a Canadian too, so going to Europe may be the best thing. It may be one of those things where he gets a lucrative deal. Our good friend Richard Hendricks joined us on Monday.
Yesterday.
I did not do that because yesterday
he was supposed to join us Monday, right?
Yeah,
right.
But Richard had a very long pro career in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
And some of those are very lucrative.
Yes.
If you can find the right place. So that's probably another reason Bediako did what he did, because he was in G League purgatory. Yeah, that's the best way to put it, because he was bouncing from one organization to another, and you might be able to maybe even turn this into a European opportunity.
Let's get a break in, because when we come back, yesterday we were talking high school athletics.
Yeah.
And we talked reclassifications. We talked a lot of it, what it means. Well, don't know if we'll do all of that, but we're going to talk to a new head coach in a new place, because he's back in a familiar place.
Where he
played. But now they're not 7A. Now they're 6A.
Yeah, we got to explain.
all that. But he'll explain why he made the move from where he made the move, because he was previewed earlier in the year, because he was a team of the week coach.
Earlier in the year?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just going to say that 3 times bad.
I don't know. What I'm going with is we handed him a check at Priceville. He's now at Bob Jones.
He was there 2 years.
Yes. Seth Parker going to join us on the other side.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. It's going to be another cold night across the Tennessee Valley. We're dropping into the mid-20s. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Still going to be cold across the area. Highs only climbing into the lower 40s, dropping into the mid and upper 20s as we head into the overnight early Friday morning. A partly sunny sky Friday afternoon, climbing into the upper 30s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's Larry from Shelby, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Chris Lowe, it has been a bleak fortnight in Alabama.
They made progress, but I think the fact that they lost 2 of their last 3 games, money games that everybody remembers, is something that's not going to sit well.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC Network.
At Stella at 5 Points, living isn't just about having an apartment, it's about living artfully. Imagine waking up with the upscale feel of Atlanta or Nashville right here in the heart of Huntsville. Modern, stylish apartments, open layouts, stainless steel appliances, and resort-inspired amenities. Nestled in vibrant 5 Points, you'll enjoy walkability, parks, dining, and quick access to downtown without the chaos. Stella at 5 Points.
Live heartfully. Live Stella.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too. Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I heard that too. That's what I heard. Yeah, I know. Crazy.
Somebody's gonna hurt someone.
I wanted to hurt somebody this week. Some of this hypocrisy, man.
Somebody. Oh boy, wait till later in the show. Pat Forty wrote an article about Greg Sankey.
Oh, great.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
Had him on the show once, never again.
Anyway, well, he's never coming over for dinner. Anyway.
He needs to stick to swimming. That's what his daughter does well.
I don't even think she does that anymore.
Well, maybe not.
Because she's done with Stanford.
Oh.
Anyway.
Jamie Mosley got hired as the defensive line coach at Stanford. He left the University of Alabama, so Freddie Roach's crutches, another one's gone. So I don't know what they're going to do to help him.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Well, you got rid of one. You can't get rid of two, obviously.
No.
Anyway, hey, earlier during the high school football season, you and I, we packed up the Team of the Week truckster.
Yes, we did.
We packed it up with $500 and we drove over to Priceville and we got to, they had a heck of a magical season.
Maybe the win of the year when you think about their comeback at Gunnersville.
Oh, I think so. I think so.
It was. I watched it 3 or 4 times on video. It was unbelievable.
But Seth Parker guided the Bulldogs to the playoffs this year.
He did.
Great 2-year run. The Bob Jones job comes open. He's a Bob Jones alum.
His wife is too.
Goes through all the rigmarole, goes through all the interview process, and boom, he's Bob Jones head football coach.
Well, Kelvis White retires. He's a good friend of the show.
Yes.
He's now the Tennessee Valley Prep head coach. And now our next guest is taking over, not just for a place where, he's coached before as offensive coordinator, as we just got through mentioning. He and his wife are alums. He was a good player at Bob Jones. His father was a longtime fixture as a coach, administrator, and then as superintendent of the Madison City school system. A lot of times things don't align where you can go home. Well, they did for Seth Parker. He's doing that. And now the landscape is taking such a dramatic shift going into his first year at Bob Jones. I'm about to get used to reprogram myself to the 6A level.
Well, yeah, because you went from
no more 7A.
Bob Jones, James Clemens,
more.
Austin, Florence, Huntsville.
This is like when
Albertville.
I was growing up, okay?
Yeah.
And it's 6A.
It's all gone.
And we're going to talk about that with Seth Parker right now, who's been kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, the new head football coach of the Bob Jones Patriots. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I appreciate you having me. I'm glad to be back on with y'all.
Yeah. And congratulations on the move. I know you were very ingrained and had really immersed yourself in the Priceville community. So a move like this is not taken lightly. But I guess I'm going to equate it to it's almost synergy and timing. It's almost too good to be true. But talk about you and your family deciding to make this move, Coach.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, we love Priceville, Alabama. I mean, that community is unbelievable, and the kids there, man, it just really was a dream come true to be out there and get to coach them. And, you know, our administration was extremely supportive. Mr. Hopkins and Ms. Turrentine, our superintendent, man, I just couldn't say enough about those people. And like you said, I mean, I heard you guys talking kind of the intro there. What a magical year we had, and the 2 years I spent out there, man, it couldn't have gone any better. But again, you guys touched on it. It just, you know, when the opportunity to come home presented itself, you know, it's something I certainly couldn't pass up. And, you know, I'd be lying to you if I said that this wasn't something that, you know, my entire life growing up here as a part of the Bob Jones family. And as you said, playing here, you know, I was the ball boy here. You know, I can remember all the way back to, you know, my elementary days. You know, I hadn't missed a game in years until, you know, I'd gone to college. And so it was just, you know, in a lot of ways, it was a very difficult decision with Priceville on one end, but with the Bob Jones perspective, it was a very easy decision. And so, like you mentioned, you know, my family ingrained here for a long time. It's a dream come true for me, something I wanted to do since I was 5 years old. But ultimately, it's time to go to work, and I've got a lot of goals and aspirations here in Madison, and you know, obviously can't wait to get to work and chase those goals.
Coaching is filled with pressures, and we all know that. Now you're coming back home to Bob Jones, your alma mater. Do you, how hard is it to kind of like put aside some of those pressures of coming back there because you go into your alma mater, you want to win so bad because this is a place that means so much to you. How hard is it to balance all of that?
Yeah, you know, to be honest with you, you know, no matter where you're at, there's going to be pressure, and ultimately, you know, as a coach, as a competitor, I think I speak probably for a lot of guys that have been at for a long time, whether you've grown up as a player or whatnot, you know, the pressure is something that, I'll be honest, doesn't really affect much anymore. You know, I enjoy that part of it. You know, I certainly put a lot of pressure on myself, and
right.
I know our players put pressure on themselves as well. And so, you know, it comes with it, but no, there definitely is an extra side to it. You know, wanting to come home and, you know, as a player here, it certainly wasn't because of me, and I appreciate Drew saying that I was a good player, because I think that was probably a little too much of a compliment. I was very, very average, and surrounded by some great dudes, man. Came through here at kind of the heyday of some of the athletes here. You know, Reggie Ragland, a year older than me, Collins Moore, a couple years older than me, and you know, of course, I played with some great players. You know, the Randolphs and the Haraways, and just lots of guys that have come through here, and so I certainly want Bob Jones to get back to where it was when it was at that point. And I think in a lot of ways, you know, I have an advantage in that, knowing what it took and what it looks like to win here at that level. And so definitely have that part of it. But at the end of the day, man, I'm glad to be back here with people that I love, working for Miss Lambert, Dr. Nichols, Mr. Terrell. And then, you know, my quarterback coach in high school was Kurt Yancey. And so getting to come work with him as our athletic director now is, man, it's awesome. And, just, you know, I think we got a great team here. I think I'm going to be fully supported. And so the pressure itself is something that I think will fall to the wayside, and as we all kind of aim to the top.
Well, we're talking to Seth Parker, new head football coach of the Bob Jones Patriots. And I was on the WOTM Twitter account, and I started to do it. I started to scroll to 7A and had to stop myself because it's 6A Region 4 now, not 7A Region 4.
That's right.
And it's changed a little bit. We've got Hazel Green, in effect, moving up, Buckhorn, a lot of familiarity there. Your thoughts on how the region lines up? And then I know you've probably already been asked this by people when you take the job, but now the focus is going to be on, you guys had some playoff success when you were part of the program as a player and coach, where you guys were able to one of the last ones to advance.
Yeah.
How do you kind of solve that riddle? Because that's the next thing, because that was a huge topic in 7A Region 4 is the lack of playoff success as a whole, Coach, for everyone.
Yeah, first with the region, realignment, reclassification, it certainly doesn't change a whole lot for us. Of course, we lose Austin and Florence, and those are two kind of longtime rivals that we've played, and so you hate to see those go, and maybe can keep a couple of those on the schedule. But then also, adding Buckhorn and Hayes Green, two familiar foes that we've played non-region over the last few years, but obviously historically, me, like I said, me as a player growing up, played those guys in everything always, and so not a lot changes there. And I'm glad to kind of get some of those old Madison County rivalries back on the schedule. And for me, a good friend, David Green at Buckhorn, I'm excited to compete against him. I know he's excited about the same thing, and but then you look at it, like you said, kind of what the obstacle is, what everybody talks about in North Alabama with the playoff success in what it was 7A, now 6A. And I'm gonna be honest with you, we're going to attack that downhill. I mean, I do not shy away from the fact that has certainly been something that has obviously been missing here at Bob Jones in terms of playoff success. And the way you do that is you go to work. And I'll be honest with you, our goal is not to go win a playoff game. Our goal is to win a state championship, and I don't shy away from that. And ultimately, I know that is an extremely difficult task. I know the mountaintop that we've got to climb here in 6A is the highest of the high, and we know that. I'm not naive to the fact that it's going to take a lot of work, and a lot of some talented players with a lot of discipline and effort towards the right direction. But that's our goal, and I've told our kids already, if our goal is to win a playoff game, we're not aiming in the right place. Our goal is to win 4 or 5 of them in one season. And again, is that around the corner? I sure think it is. And so we certainly set our goals high, our sights high, and we're not going to stop till we get there. And I know there's a lot of teams around the state that feel the same way. But like I said, our goal is not to win a playoff game. Our goal is to win 4 or 5 of them in 1 year. And so again, that's where we set our sights, and it takes one day at a time, and we're going to get a workout here in about 30 minutes and crush it with a championship mentality. And that's all we can do.
You were around the program when Kevin Rose was there, and you mentioned earlier that you bring this program back to the expectations, and I'm sure that was what you were referring to under Kevin Rose. What did you take away from your time there under Coach Rose? I mean, it's a different player, coach, and all that stuff, but what did you take away that you're saying, hey, look, I want to get Bob Jones back. This is what we used to do. How do you take that and use that?
Well, I think that's a great question, and I appreciate you asking it, because I really don't think it's necessarily getting back to doing this or back to doing that. I go back to, man, I revere this position as the head coach, Bob Jones, more than I can explain. I go back to even, I think Bob Jones football really changed when Shannon Brown became the head coach back in, I think, 2004.
Yeah.
I think he really took the program to the next level and made it an elite football program, and the way we carried ourselves, the way we dressed, the way we looked, the things that we did. Again, I was the ball boy then. My dad was the principal, my brother was a player, and so got to see it firsthand. And then, like you said, Coach Rose has won more here than anybody, and Coach Rose took it to the next level. And Kevin Rose is a hero of mine, and somebody that I was fortunate enough to play for. I was able to coach for him for 1 year. I'm very close to him and his family, and just think the world of him. And so, like you said, you certainly want to get it back to that. And definitely some of the mentality things that Coach Rose kind of always taught us about, and maybe some of the ways we practice, definitely, those are things that are ingrained in me naturally. But then the same thing with Coach Kelvis White. I mean, I've got, I think what Coach White did here took Bob Jones to a different level, and some of his mentality was needed here, and the physicality that we've played with over the last few years is something that Coach White brought. And so again, I want to do a mixture of all three of those and pull from all guys. But there's no doubt that Kevin Rose set a standard here that you certainly want to get back to, that was prevalent throughout the 2010s. And I think it's something that we can do. But again, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants here at this program, and just thankful for Coach Brown, Coach Rose, and Coach White, what they've done. And I want to take it and run with it and take it to places it's never been.
Well, and with your coaching career and as a head coach and an assistant, you've been on the public school level, but you've competed against private schools. What was your ultimate thought? And your father, who we have a great relationship with, so much respect for, helped build as administrator the Whitesburg Christian Academy programs, and now he's at Lindsay Lane, where they've started football and their athletics as they're trying to certainly build that brand. What were your thoughts on separating the high schools and the public schools? And I know you still, I'm sure that's still going to be a thought, competing against them, maybe in a regular season type situation for you as you build your future schedules. But what are your thoughts on the public and private school situation and arrangement right now?
Yeah, it's tough. For me, in a lot of ways, it's always been something that's kind of been out of sight, out of mind. Because, again, I've always been at this level for the most part outside the last 2 years, and in 6 or 7A, and we certainly don't have those private schools in our region up here that affect us a lot. Of course, I know we're right down the road from Madison Academy, and truthfully, my niece and nephew go there. My sister-in-law teaches over there and is a graduate of MA, and so again, a lot of respect for them. And so I guess it's in my rear view a little bit with that, my dad being involved. But in some ways, I feel like the state, felt that they were obviously acting in the right way, and in some ways they are. I think it really is just it depends on how you've been affected by it. I think is kind of how you would feel about the split. At the end of the day, man, I live on this. This is about kids, and we want to give kids the best opportunity to be successful, and have a great high school sports experience, whatever that looks like. And so, if this is the best thing in the state, I'm all for it. If there's something else that was better for the kids throughout the state, where maybe we, work something out where the private schools are still involved, great. But ultimately, I think there are some advantages to being able to open your doors to anybody and everybody that doesn't really, isn't based on where you're geographically located. And I think the competitive balance did impact that in a lot of ways. I think I think competitive balance was fair. But when it came down to it, I think truthfully, this is a situation where majority rules. And, again, that's above my pay grade. I'm just going wherever they tell me to be on Fridays. I'm going to be there. We're going to put the ball down and play. And, but I know there's a lot of people impacted about it. And, I'm certainly open to any dialogue. And, again, I just want what's best for all kids in high school athletics in Alabama, and we'll support that always.
Do you have your schedule then set for next season?
Are you still working on that, Coach, or did Kelvis already have that set?
So fortunately, Coach White had put out some feelers for me and kind of got it in a situation. But no, we're getting it finalized. We've actually got the last little bit. We've got our I'm like you guys. I got to fix myself. 6A Region 4 meeting. There we go. 6A Region 4 coaches meeting. We're having that this morning, and we'll finalize kind of some home and aways, and then I think most people will be releasing their schedules very soon. So really excited about it, though. We're going to be playing some non-regions locally here against some teams we really, really respect, coaches that I got a ton of respect for, and really excited about the opportunity to compete up here.
Yeah, I think we're excited to have you back, even though you were just right down the road at Priceville. We certainly were following you very closely, but we could kind of see the tea leaves and read them and maybe the direction Bob Jones was going to go, and we're super excited about it. We're super excited to continue to build the relationship. We wanted to get your thoughts on that. Because I think it's really good for our community to have you back. And of course, your family's been very important to athletics in this area. But we certainly appreciate it. Good luck to you, Coach. And we look forward to continuing to have conversations down the road. And who knows? I mean, I know it's changed a lot. I know some teams have spring practice. A lot of people are starting the week early in the summer, but it'll be here before we know it. And certainly good luck to you. And we certainly look forward to the new era of Bob Jones football with you at the helm.
Guys, thank y'all so much for having me. I appreciate what all you guys do for high school athletics up here, man. And again, can't wait to talk to you guys soon. Appreciate you having me. Go Patriots.
Thank you, Seth Parker, kind enough to spend a few minutes with us. You're right. We won't, before we know it, we're going to be back doing the grind for high school football. It'll be here before you know it. Let's get a break in. Wrap up hour one next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Alabama knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family-friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you scheduled your wedding and even your child's birth around your school's game? Of course. But it means more than that. It means you're home to hundreds of Fulbright, Truman, Goldwater, and Rhodes Scholars. It means starting out as the birthplace of American public higher education and now leading the way in unmanned spacecraft. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more. What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That there's an honest-to-goodness chandelier in your tailgate tent? Perhaps. But it means more than that. It means pioneering medical solutions to predict new flu viruses. It means leading globally diverse teams to eliminate starvation in developing countries. And it means being home to one of the nation's top cybersecurity programs. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
All right, 7:55, about ready to wrap up hour 1 here on Talking Ball. Let's slip in a phone call. Let's get Jake in real fast before the break. Good morning, Jake.
Morning, Jake.
Good morning, guys. How are y'all?
Doing good,
man. How are you?
Y'all, I just wanted to ask y'all a question. It might not be a quick thing, but I got to think about how they're going to do in college football, in the state of college football today. How you're going to do the recruiting and play the portal, and what would be the advantages. And I just wanted to ask y'all, just what, for instance, if a kid, do you do better by, let's say, Deuce Knight, Auburn getting a Deuce Knight 5-star out of high school, and then developing him and putting all that time and money into him, and then he leaves to go somewhere else? Do you do better by saving that money and spending $2-3 million on a portal guy rather than develop and spend all the time recruiting and develop?
So you're saying is go out and is it better to go out and get a developed quarterback for $2 million or $3 million, and instead of recruiting a 5-star, 4-star out of high school and developing him along the way?
Yes, sir. Because see, the way I'm thinking of it is, they spend a lot of time recruiting trips and recruiting visits and having the kid here and there and all the stuff they do. Or would it be better just to save that money and not do any of that crap? And primarily spend the money on a developed junior player, something like that in the portal.
Your last two national championship teams, Indiana and Ohio State, both went the route of going out and spending money on a quarterback rather than developing them on their campus.
Mensa just announced officially for Miami yesterday after that settlement with Duke. So.
Yeah, so I mean, they're continuing the trend of not going to. Oregon's the same way. I mean, you could say Dante Moore, he transferred from UCLA. Yeah, he sat out a year, but he's staying there.
The majority of schools are honestly going the transfer route.
Right,
for quarterback.
right. So, all right. And Alabama next year will be rare because if Keelan Russell gets the starting job, that's a recruitment, not a transfer portal.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Alabama mauls Missouri 90-64. The Coleman Coliseum last night. The Crimson Tide earned the victory, covering as 10.5-point home favorites. Today in the SEC, it's Auburn laying 5.5 at home at Texas at Neville Arena, 160.5 the total. Tennessee in action on the road at Georgia. The Bulldogs are the 2.5-point home favorite, 159.5 the total. And LSU, they're at home with Mississippi State at 6.5-point favorites at the Maravich Assembly Center. Jacksonville State Gamecocks today on the road at FIU. It's 4.5-point underdogs, 149.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you paint your body, your car, and your dog your school colors? Maybe. But it means more than that. It means your alumni network includes the state, the country, and beyond. It means your school ring doubles as your resume. And yeah, you better believe it means more titles, like doctor, CEO, and your honor. Because this is the SEC, and here, it just means more. What does it mean to be part of the Southeastern Conference? That yours is the only conference with its own chant? Well, yes, but it means more than that. It means a study abroad program that might include reforestation in a mangrove swamp in Australia. It means finding your calling, your future spouse, your startup's co-founders, and of course, grilling tongs that play your fight song. This is the SEC, and here, it just means more.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Hour 2 is upon us. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. They're putting out it to help us get hour number 2 underway. 256-881-5151. If you want to experience the SportsMed difference, sportsmedalabama.com. That's how you can find them online. It's SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives. We kicked off hour 1, kicked off the show, matter of fact, talking SEC basketball. There were 3 games on the hardwood last night. Alabama and Missouri. That one, little no doubt in that one. Vanderbilt, Kentucky, there was never a doubt in that one. But 15th ranked Arkansas did have to come from behind last night on the road to get by Oklahoma 83-79.
Oklahoma, Porter Moser, that's rough
but
now.
Arkansas now has 6 conference wins. They did not get 6 conference wins until I think late February, maybe last year. It took a while for Arkansas to get to their 6th conference win. This year they have 6. They're 6-2 right now, January 27th.
Yeah, Bucky Ball, a big part of the story of the first half of the SEC schedule. And we're going to talk SEC basketball as we do on a weekly basis with our next guest. He does a great job with Southeastern 16, is their lead college basketball analyst specializing in the Southeastern Conference, and that is Blake Lovell. Blake, good morning. How are you?
Hey, guys. How are you?
How is it over there, man? I know you're based out of Nashville. From what I understand, it's still a little dicey over there, but they didn't have a problem dicing up the Kentucky Wildcats in Memorial Coliseum last night.
Yeah, there was
more
people maybe than I thought, but it's still a mess as you would expect, right? I think there's still 150,000 plus people without electricity. I think ours went off early Sunday morning, didn't come back till late Monday. But we're still, there's plenty of people that have been out a lot longer than us, and you just kind of see the visuals and everything out there. So yeah, I was curious, honestly, guys, about kind of these games and what would get shifted. Obviously only Tennessee, Georgia got moved from Tuesday to tonight, but they played the game last night, and one team played. Not sure about the other team, but I think Vanderbilt knew that there was a game going on, but Kentucky did not play so well, and that surprised me because I thought this is one that Kentucky didn't match up that poorly with Vanderbilt, especially when the Commodores didn't have Duke Miles. And so, this was kind of a surprise, one of the more, I think, stunning results in the SEC so far for Vanderbilt to win that game by 25. But they came out early and set the tempo, the way they wanted the game to be played, and Kentucky just couldn't match it. So,
yeah,
we talked a lot about Vanderbilt possibly hitting a wall or just kind of everybody else maybe figuring them out more than anything. But you look at that result last night, does it say more about Vanderbilt continuing to figure it out or more about Mark Pope and Kentucky not figuring it out and things just continuing to go horribly wrong?
Yeah, I think it's more about Vanderbilt. I just think that we've seen teams go on the road this year and just kind of lay an egg. They did it at Arkansas. Arkansas did it at Auburn. You can just play the domino effect with teams that just haven't played well on the road in the SEC. And so I think it is more about Vanderbilt figuring it out. I said going into that Texas game, I'm like, we all have to be realistic here and understand that there is a chance that they're going to go 0-3 in their next 3 games, despite starting 16-0, because it's all about the way your schedule falls. And when you looked at it at Texas, tough spot after they had just beaten Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Then you play Florida at home. Basketball is a game of matchups, and they just don't match up that great with Florida, yet they only lost by 4. And then I'm like, you're in a tough spot having to go to Arkansas after they had just lost to Georgia. And so it was kind of everything coming together for them to kind of have that streak of 6 days where they just couldn't figure out a way to win. But to go to Mississippi State and win by 32, I don't care how good the Bulldogs are this year. You guys know that is not an easy place to go in and do something like that. And so to go in there, beat them by 32, now bounce back and beat Kentucky by 25. Vanderbilt's not going anywhere. I think that losing streak just happens, to teams sometimes, like I said, based on matchups and schedules. I think they are going to be right there in the SEC title race. And they've got an upcoming schedule now at Ole Miss on Saturday, home against Oklahoma next Saturday. If they can win both of those games, then yeah, I think they're setting up for quite a finish there for what has been, a historically good Vanderbilt team so far.
Yeah, I think they're solid. I think they're very likely to be among the top 4 or 5. How much of a conversation has it been for you guys and the feedback from your listeners and viewers? We've talked about the Bediako situation since it came to fruition. There's been so much give and take about it. I've been critical because I think there's been a lot of hypocrisy from coaches around the country. But I respect you. I respect your acumen and you and Chris Lee and everybody over there at Southeastern 16. What's your take on the Bediako situation in Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, my stance has stayed the same on this. Like, I've made it very clear. Like, and I don't blame Nate Oates. I don't blame Charles Bediako. I don't blame really, just the way this thing has unfolded, because I feel like, and maybe this is, I think, guys, we understand that, and Nate Oates may have said this specifically, but I'm like, if Alabama doesn't do it, then somebody else is going to do it. And I think that's just the way I've looked at it. And also from talking to people that I think have a pretty good grasp on this. They're like, there are other coaches who, if they had this opportunity, are going to take it every single time.
Yes.
And so in my opinion, it's not a Nate Oates Alabama basketball problem. It is a bigger problem that, yes, is not sustainable long term. Do I want to see this happen regularly? I don't. But do I think that this is something where all of a sudden Alabama should be viewed as this big villain or whatever? I don't either, because I just think, again, like you said, Drew, there is some hypocrisy in this whole thing, because I do believe, based on talking to people who would know, like, there are coaches who would have done this exact same thing and not batted an eye if it meant, hey, this is within kind of what we can do right now. We're going to see if we can make this work, and so be it. So, I mean, I think that's where I stand on it. And then I know, like, it's the era of social media and all this, and you're going to have one extreme on this side, one extreme on the other. But I tend to fall somewhere in the middle on this, where it's like, I don't want to see this happen long-term in college basketball, because I think the sport's already kind of in a tough spot. But I also am not going to sit back and act like Alabama is just all of a sudden doing something that many other schools would also not do if they were given the opportunity.
Well, then you look at Alabama, stay with Alabama, their performance last night against Missouri, and the way that it's one thing to bring a guy in. It's another thing to bring somebody in the middle of the season, because that's just what this is. It can either go one of two ways. It can go really bad because they don't mesh, or it can go really good because they understand everything and they flow good. It seems right now that Charles Bediako, yes, he's played there before, but not with these guys. It seems like it's flowing.
It is. And I had an exchange with one of our viewers the other day, and he was like, how did you not expect Bediako to come in and just start playing like 25 minutes a game? I was like, I couldn't even wrap my head around it, because it's a great point. Because I'm like, yeah, it's true. Like, he's actually played here before, and he knows the system and all those things. And you kind of know that he's going to make an impact. And so for me, like, I feel like initially I was like, well, I'm in wait and see mode. But I'm thinking now, why should I have been that way? Because, again, you know what the guy brings to the table. You know kind of the skill set that he has. And, yes, it is something, too, where, like, if Charles Bediako was someone who came in and played 5 minutes these last couple games, there wouldn't be anywhere near kind of the level of backlash probably. It would be people saying, well, this is still maybe, I'm not sure how we feel about this. But the fact is, Charles Bediako makes Alabama better. And that's not going to sit well with the people. And I understand that. But it is now, guys, think about the conversations we're having going into the season. The biggest discussion point on Alabama never was it how good are the guards going to be. It was always a matter of how is the front court going to develop, because that's going to be the thing that can get Alabama back to a Final Four. And now, when you see the way this thing is played out, especially for a team that, I've been calling the San Francisco 49ers, who just, it feels like the team that's been the most snake bit with injuries in the NFL over the past however many years. Alabama just cannot seem to get a full roster together because they've had injuries, guys in and out, and all that. So when you look at it from this standpoint, yeah, like, he obviously makes them better. He gives them a dynamic in the front court I don't think they had on this roster. And so depending on how this situation plays out, we'll see when they go into Florida on Saturday or on Sunday, and if Todd Golden's comments hold any weight here about still beating them with Charles Bediako, because I think it's a great matchup now when you do look at, the Bediako effect and how he's going to go up against what is obviously, to me, still the best front court in America in Florida.
Yeah, and that's a great segue. They've got that matchup coming up on Sunday. Todd Golden has been extremely outspoken. He's already guaranteed a victory, basically, against Alabama, but he forgot they were going to play Auburn. That didn't go very well. That was, I'll be honest, that was probably the biggest stunner of the season so far within the league for me, Blake, is what Auburn did at Florida. First time in 30 years, but especially with the way Florida was playing. I still think they probably have the best team in the league, but they were playing at such a high level. And I think that could have flipped Auburn's season, and we'll see what happens tonight against Texas.
Yeah, it's interesting because I almost felt like they sort of traded places from last year. Of course, remember Florida going in, Auburn just felt invincible at that
good
time
point.
last
Good
season.
point. Yeah.
And, Florida went in and beat them at Neville Arena. And then this year, it's like Florida started to get that feel of sort of, man, this team may be invincible. And then what happens? Auburn goes in and beats them. So they did kind of trade spots from last year, I feel like. But yeah, I think it just kind of showed you. And I've been really critical of Auburn defensively, over the past couple months. But you look at their last three results, and they've stepped it up on the defensive side of things. And they've really figured it out, giving up 67, 66, and 67. And I think that is the biggest difference, right? If Auburn's going to be a team that can make a run to the Sweet 16 or beyond, they got the offense to do it. That's never been a doubt in my mind. But can they string together a 40-minute game defensively? They've done that a lot. They've been a lot closer to that over these last three games. And I think that's going to be the thing that determines, whether they can be a team that matchup-wise can be tough for some opponents once you get into the tournament. So it was a surprising result. I think to me, it told me a lot more about Auburn, necessarily more than it did about Florida. I still think the Gators are in position to win the league. I think they're going to have a great chance to do that. But you can see some of those things that maybe matchup-wise that Auburn did against Florida that hopefully if your other team's out there and you're like, help us find a way to have a chance here, you can do some of those things and really be effective at it. So
you got to put Bucky McMillan towards the top of SEC coaches right now as early candidates for Coach of the Year as we start to get to that midway point. Got Texas A&M at the top of the league, not playing midweek game. They got one over on the weekend, but how they continued to take this league right now, 6-1, top of the league.
Yeah, they've been tremendous. And I look at this team, and something we have to really keep in mind is if you go a little bit deeper with them, they've had two losses since November the 14th, and both of those were in overtime. And this has been one of the more consistent teams in the sport for 2 months. And I just think for some reason people are still not buying in, and I don't know why. Because
they're not in the top 25.
Yeah, it's pretty stunning.
I had a discussion with someone like literally half an hour ago, and I'm like, if you want to know why me personally, I have not looked at the top 25 once this season, this is why. Because it's absolutely absurd. Throw these people in there with the Bill Belichick voters. Just keep them completely away. Keep them out of the zip code of wherever you vote for whatever this is. Like, it's ridiculous because A&M has been excellent. And you look at the way they're doing it, guys, and you know this, like just by watching Bucky and the way they've worked their style over the years and how he likes to play. They're forcing a lot of turnovers. They're making a lot of threes. And, I mean, that's kind of like what Missouri did several years ago, if you remember, like Dennis Gates' first team. They came in, everybody's like, I'm not sure about the roster, but what do? They were one of the best at forcing turnovers. They were one of the best at making threes. And when you can do those two things, I think that's such an effective combination in this era of basketball. And they're just so good at that. I just think they're not going anywhere, guys. I was looking at their schedule.
Yeah.
I think A&M, quite honestly, does have a chance to win the league.
Wow.
I don't know, this big stretch coming up, right? At Georgia, at Alabama, home against Florida. These three games will probably define whether they're going to be a team that can win this league. Because if they get past those three, let's say they go 2-1, I think the rest of their schedule sets up so nicely that I really do think there's a chance that they can win the SEC this year.
Now we have to talk in the negative right now because they lost last night. They just seem snake bit. I really was. Their guts got ripped out by the end of that Missouri game, and then we've already heard that Verge Osbury at LSU. Are we staring down two coaching changes at LSU and Oklahoma right now?
I think with Oklahoma, and someone was asking me this last night, like, are they going to fire him now? I'm like, I don't think so, because if you really look at it as this second, they just come off a 4-point loss to Arkansas, a probably 0.3% chance of losing the Missouri game the way they did, and it happened. 2 buzzer beaters. They lost by 9 at South Carolina, 2 at home to Alabama. They lost by 7 at Texas A&M. That's just a team that, like, the ball is not bouncing your way. You're right there with a chance, and it's not happening. Now, do I think at the end of the season there's going to be a change at Oklahoma? I would say there's a decent chance, just because it seemed like going into last year, there was already that thought, and yet they started 13-0 and still got to the tournament. They didn't make a swap. I think unless something drastically changes with this team, which if you look at their upcoming schedule, guys, I'm not joking when I say that I don't know. I mean, unless they beat Texas on Saturday, I'm not sure if they win again until like towards the end of February based on their schedule. Because it's just it's a brutal slate. Where LSU, here's the thing. Whenever he came out and said that about Matt McMahon, you want to talk about a lack of awareness or simply a lack of care. Let's keep in mind they were playing without their best player for several games in SEC play. So to come out and put that pressure on your coach, I think is just absurd. But I'm not surprised based on kind of how other things have turned out there under that regime when it comes to a certain sport. So not surprised, but I do think there is a chance that they will make a swap. I think Matt McMahon's actually a pretty good coach, guys, and I think it's one of those where, again, you talk about the ball not bouncing your way. Think about dealing with injuries last year. They lost Jalen Reed for the season last year. They lose him again early this season. Now you've been starting SEC play without your best player, and it's just like everything feels like it's kind of going against you. So I think LSU can play spoiler down the stretch. I think they're going to beat some teams they shouldn't be here the rest of the way. I don't think it'll be enough to get them into the tournament. And so, yeah, I think if you're picking two places that could have a swap, those seem to be the two most likely right now.
Yeah, and then my final question is, because I think it's a great matchup on Sunday in Gainesville, if Alabama can get Amari Allen back, can they give Florida a big test with Bediako now in the lineup?
I was going to say, if you have the combination of Amari Allen and Bediako, I think you absolutely are in a position to make this quite interesting, because if we're picking right now, who do I trust more at guard? I trust Alabama more at guard, because as good as Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee have been at times over this run that Florida's had, they've still been inconsistent also. Like, they're still in some of those. And not to say that Alabama's been perfect there, but I just think it's how they play. And, think about this too, guys. This is the kind of game where if you're Alabama, I don't think there's anything more important than getting off to a great start. Because if you put Florida in a position where they have to chase, they're not a good shooting team. We know that. They just simply cannot shoot it very well from outside. They're also a very poor kind of free throw shooting team. And I think those two things sometimes, if you're picking a national champion and all that, that's tough to overlook when you get in games where maybe, the other team gets a little hot, which we know Alabama can do. And so that's what I'm most interested in. I think Alabama will have a lot of opportunities to come out and make shots from the perimeter. Florida, I think in SEC plays 14th in the SEC in three-point defense. So if Alabama can get going, if they can get to the free throw line, easier said than done on the road. I think if Amari Allen plays, I think Alabama's got a really decent chance to win this game, just because I don't really know if we kind of know exactly what we're getting from Florida's guards in this kind of matchup. But of course, you also know this, rebounding. We've seen Alabama just get absolutely obliterated against teams like Florida that are built like Florida in the front court on the glass. Alabama better come out, and that's where having Bediako can help them come out and I think be way more competitive in that area.
Great stuff, Blake. Let everybody know how to connect with you. And you do great work on Southeastern 16. We always enjoy the conversation.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Find us over there at Southeastern 16, YouTube, any podcast app you use. Yeah, of course, daily SEC basketball coverage over there. We got all of our baseball previews going up as well. Season starting soon. So check it all out there at Southeastern 16.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Blake.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's get that break in. More conversation when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he can take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well, because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill.
Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all, with features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Hey, I'm Bobby White, now with Lynn Layton Ford Indicator, where we're jump-starting January with low rates, low payments, and low prices on a great selection of new Fords. Right now, you can get 2.9% financing for 60 months, plus $2,000 customer cash on 25 F-150s, or choose $4,000 in total rebates instead. We've got new 25 Explorers with 2.9% APR for 60 months, plus $1,500 in total cash. Get 4.9% financing for 60 months on your choice of any new 25 Ford Bronco. Or choose a $2,000 customer cash bonus to get a new 25 Bronco Sport starting at under $29,000. And there's never any hidden markups or dock fees. We hope to see you soon at Lynn Layton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline indicator, or online anytime at lynnlaytonford.com. All offers on select new Ford models with your good credit. Bronco Sport stock number example 27715T. See us for all the details.
More exciting than breakfast and a lot more enjoyable to cook, brunch is ideal for sharing.
Brunch with the Big Dog, the Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays starting at 10 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Kind of scratching my head last night when this story kind of came around.
Are we talking about Belichick now?
Yeah. So, look, you win 6 Super Bowls as a head coach.
Yeah.
You win 2 more as a defensive coordinator.
He's won more than anyone.
He's won 8 Super Bowls as a coach. This coming year, his first year of eligibility to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yesterday, ESPN, the first to report that Bill Belichick will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I was
333 career wins as a head coach.
I was pretty stunned. I understand if you look at his career in its totality, he wasn't largely successful at Cleveland. But, the relocation there with Art Modell, that didn't help things. It looked like he was going to turn it around, but it didn't work. Then we all know that he was trying to build it with Drew Bledsoe. Then they draft Tom Brady. They were on the way to winning, I think. And then Tom Brady, who, you got to have the luck of the draw sometimes. And then that built them into a dynasty. You win 6 Super Bowls with him. And then Brady gets traded and wins one with Tampa. And his program fell off the planet. And that's happened to coaches before.
It has.
But I still would have thought he would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. I really think this, and according to what you're hearing buzz-wise, it has more to do with Deflategate and Spygate than anything else. I think they
felt like he needed to be those that have come out and through the grapevine, so to speak, was that those that did not vote for him, and there was very few.
Yeah, because he had to have he fell just short of the 40 votes.
Yes, that felt like this was punishment for him.
So
this was punishment
now, but but everybody thinks he's gonna go in on the next ballot.
Right. He has 333 wins. That's only second behind legendary head coach Don Shula. Colts, Dolphins fame, Don Shula. Yeah. He got in
first
ballot in 1997. A lot of people believe that this is Bill Belichick's punishment for Spygate and Deflategate. Yeah, that he'll get in, but he doesn't deserve to get in on the first ballot.
And he's not gonna. And it's a little bit stunning. It's almost like the looking the other way with Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, but all these cats have never gone in, you know what I'm saying, to the Hall of Fame. Now, it's funny, David Ortiz did, even though he failed the test, but I still think David Ortiz is a Hall of Fame player, and I thought David Ortiz was very contrite in what he said. I thought he handled it the right way. My whole point with Bonds, Clemens, McGwire, and all these guys, and even Pete Rose to a degree, the late, great Pete Rose, I think if all of them had come clean and said, okay, I screwed up, shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that, and if you go back and you do a lot of goodwill things, I think you still get in. But when you sit there and you're so fixated adamant and lying through your teeth because you have such an ego, because you don't want to admit that you cut corners, then you're not going to be forgiven. And people are like these sports writers are going to say, and that's kind of what happened with Belichick. And Belichick never admitted to doing anything wrong with Deflategate and Spygate. And so they're just like, to hell with it. And Belichick, you've seen his personality. He
got a little bit.
He doesn't endear himself to people.
No, he does not.
And so, and everybody talks about how he holds grudges and everything. And so it turns around on you.
Right.
You know, you want to hold grudges on people, then they're going to hold grudges against you. He's going to get into the Hall of Fame. We all know he's a Hall of Famer. He's just not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Do I feel sorry for Bill Belichick? I do not. Do I think he's a Hall of Famer? I don't. Do I think he's a Hall of Famer? Yes, I do. But sometimes you have to pay a small price, but you'll end up reaping the benefits going forward. But again, sometimes when you're a prick, that's what happens to you.
Wow. By the way, for those that really want to know, back in 24, the Pro Football Hall of Fame changed their requirements. Bill Belichick has not been out of the league for 5 years.
Yeah, because it would
used to be a 5-year waiting period.
Now you automatically go on the ballot.
For coaches, they lowered that waiting period to 1.
Right.
So, as soon as you're done coaching, you have 1 year, then you can be on the ballot for the Hall of Fame. Used to be you would have to wait 5 years. And so Bill Belichick has not been out of the league 5 years.
And look, I just think overall, if you're Bill Belichick, if you had come forward and said, look, we did try to gain a competitive advantage. A lot of people have. Look, I'll equate it to something else too. Look at Alex Cora, with the Red Sox, who won a World Series there and then took a year off because of he got caught in the middle of this scandal. And he took heat for a year, but now he's back in it. This is what's going to be Belichick. His legacy is not going to be affected by this. It's just going to be, because once you're in the Hall of Fame, you're in the Hall of Fame. So what that you didn't go on in the first ballot? So does it suck for him right now that he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer? No, but once he goes in, nobody's going to give a damn.
Right.
Okay. So you're going to pay a small price because, and do I believe Spygate and Deflategate happened? Absolutely.
And it happened on his watch.
So you can pay that small price where, if he'd have come forward and said, look, we tried to gain a competitive advantage. We will pay the price for this. We will, we understand that this, this cannot happen again.
So is that like Jim Harbaugh? Jim Harbaugh, should he do something for the Connor Stallions thing then?
Well, I think so, but I mean, I don't think he will, because he and Belichick are kind of they're
from that same mold. You think?
From the same mold. They're very competitive, but and to me, they're not going to. No matter what, they're not going to do anything to Michigan's national championship.
Right.
But I think you would endear yourself to a lot of people. But some people like having that kind of reputation. They don't care. They just want to win. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's the way Belichick's wired. And to be honest, I was listening to Chuck Oliver this morning. They were talking about the situation with Belichick not even being a Hall of Famer, but they were also talking about the way coaches, and they were talking about with the changing landscape in collegiate athletics, that there's a lot of coaches that would do the exact same thing as far as he was talking about. He brought up the baseball analogy with Cora.
Right.
He says, you want to know why there's so many people that weren't talking about it? Because they're doing the same thing. They're trying to gain any kind of advantage. And that's just what they're doing. You still have to go out and win the game.
Some just get caught.
Sometimes you get caught, and it's just the way you handle it. But ultimately, Belichick will be a Hall of Famer. Ultimately, I think he is the greatest NFL coach of all time.
31 postseason wins.
Because you can't take
most.
You can say, well, look at him pre-Brady and post-Brady, but he had Brady. You can't take that away, and they drafted Brady. So that has to go into the equation. And
I'm thinking of the first thing that comes to my mind.
He has to be considered the greatest NFL coach of all time.
George Seifert comes to my mind. Post Steve Young, he goes on and coaches. What did you go coach Carolina?
Yeah, didn't have
a lot of success, but I mean, you look at what he had when he was out on the Bay Area.
Well, I look at how Bill Walsh finished his Hall of Fame career. The late Bill Walsh.
Yeah.
He finished it going back to Stanford and not winning. Yeah. I had his video game, this Bill Walsh college football, but it did not go well.
Won a lot with Joe Montana.
So far, Bill has not done well at North Carolina. We'll see what kind of adjustments he makes. But again, it's just one of those things. I still think he's the greatest NFL coach of all time. Sometimes you have to pay a minor. I still think this is a minor penalty to ultimately get the reward. Look, he's not even, correct me if I'm wrong here.
Right.
He had such a falling out with Bob Kraft. I don't even think he's in the Patriot Ring of Honor yet. And remember how Jimmy Johnson and how long it took for.
You want to talk about
Jones.
Egos. Woo! Those were egos.
You want to talk about how long that took.
And that was all over the Herschel Walker trade.
And hey,
who wanted credit for the Herschel Walker trade?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it took Jimmy a while to get in the Hall.
No, it did. I think it did.
Yeah. Because he went to the Dolphins and didn't do well.
No, he did not.
He drafted well, but he didn't win.
And he had to wait 5 years.
Yeah.
To get in. By the way, Andy Reid is second on the list with 28 playoff wins, career playoff wins. That's number 2 on the list.
Break that. I mean, and Andy will be a first ballot Hall of Famer because he has not rocked the boat. Belichick rocked the boat in a lot of ways.
Jimmy Johnson, by the way, went in 2020.
Yeah, it took him a while though because he'd been out of coaching for a long time. You would have thought a guy with Jimmy Johnson's resume that won 2 Super Bowls or 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought he won 3. I think he won 3, and then Barry Switzer won the 4th. Is that correct?
Yeah, Barry Switzer did win.
He won the one after he left.
He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He won 2.
My bad. He would have won 3. He won 2, and then Barry Switzer won 1. So, but Jimmy, he built that team. We all know basically he was the general manager, not Jerry. He built.
Well, it depends who you ask.
Well, whatever. But
Jerry's going to tell you that he was the general manager and he made those calls.
Walker trade and stuff like that. But Jimmy's a 2-time Super Bowl winner and built one of the greatest teams ever. And to talk about impact, the Dallas Cowboys haven't done squat since they fired Jimmy. Except for the 1 year under Barry. And that's kind of the reason I said 3, because really that was Jimmy's team. Okay. He didn't coach it, but he would have won 3 Super Bowls.
Jimmy did not go into the Cowboys Ring of Honor
until
2023.
See? That's what I mean.
They announced that he would go in there in 2021. He went into the Hall of Fame in 2020.
Yeah.
3 years after going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Was like, well, I guess I need to put him in the Ring of Honor since they put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And that's probably what's going to happen with Belichick. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame, and then Bob Kraft will put him in the Ring of Honor because he and Bob Kraft basically aren't on speaking terms. But I can't blame Bob Kraft because that's another thing. It's Belichick and the way he handles himself. And sometimes that's just the bed you make.
True.
He's still going to be a Hall of Famer. He's still considered the greatest coach of all time, okay? But it's just that's just the way it is sometimes when you handle yourself a certain way.
We got to get a break in. When we come back, there's more NFL news. Blake Lovell said he laughed at the AP Top 25 poll.
Well, Bucky should be in it.
Well, there's one guy that voted in the poll that did not put Alabama in the top 25, and he put his reason out yesterday on Twitter.
And he's a schmuck, too.
We'll fill you in next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Travel accommodations for 97.7 ESPN The Zone provided by University Kia. Your Fox 54 weather.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Still going to be well below average. Highs only climbing into the lower 40s, dropping into the mid-20s as we head into the overnight early Thursday morning. A partly sunny sky Thursday afternoon. Temperatures once again only climbing into the lower 40s and then dropping into the upper 20s, lower 30s through the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Friday. The temperatures hanging out in the upper 30s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This is Charger basketball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Swings it over to Jordan Mabe. Mabe attacks it. Boy, Jordan wants some. He'll scoop it. Lays it up and one for Jordan Mabe. Oh,
this is Charger basketball.
A three in the corner. Up and good for Q. He now has 20 in the game. We're tied at 66.
This is Charger basketball.
Need tough equipment you can count on? Christopher Equipment has you covered. Whether it's air compressors, trenchers, bucket lifts, concrete tools, generators, skid steers, and more. Serving you with locations in Tullahoma, Shelbyville, Manchester, Fayetteville, and Hazel Green. Christopher Equipment. From job site to backyard, rent or buy, Christopher Equipment delivers the tools you need when you need them. Call 931-455-3900 or visit christopher.equipment today. Christopher Equipment, powering your project.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today. 256-202-4200. That's 256-202-4200.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Tom Abraham here for my longtime friend Mike Owen of Owen Home Appliance. You know, Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance prides themselves on community involvement as well, sponsoring local teams and events while making sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. Visit their highly interactive showroom in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river on 231.
Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, 8:40 on a Wednesday morning. Blake Lovell joined us top of the hour there. We were talking college basketball, and there was a story that came out yesterday, and Connor Eargood.
I thought you were going to say Stallions for a second there.
No, Connor.
Oh yeah, that's right. Somebody told me his name was Eargood, and I said he must not hear good.
Eargood is his name. Yeah, he covers Michigan State athletics for the Detroit News.
Yeah,
former Michigan Daily.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Flint native. He's a Michigan guy.
He's a Flintstone.
The AP poll came out yesterday. Obviously, it came out. The new AP basketball top 25. Alabama's number 23, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Connor did not vote for Alabama in his top 25.
Nope.
And he gave a reason why he did not vote for Alabama in his top 25. And he says, a note on my ballot. I did not rank Alabama this week. And he says, quote, I will not rank a team that has to circumvent the rules through a court order just to win, in parentheses, and still lost. To me, that's a team admitting its own weakness. End quote.
Well, I think, what's his name again?
Connor Eargood. Eargood.
I think he doesn't hear good. I think he's an imbecile. Because if Michigan State were doing that with Tom Izzo, who I have the utmost respect for, and I know Izzo's been outspoken about this, but if Michigan were doing it, he would be voting them in the top 25 because he's full of it. I don't think he would. If it was one of the teams he was covering, he would still vote them in the top 25.
He says he did not rank any of the other schools.
Well, what about Tyron Grant Foster? He's playing at Gonzaga because of an injunction. Did he vote Gonzaga in the top 25?
He says, Connor says, and I quote, Tyron Grant Foster should be eligible via the blanket JUCO waiver, and the NCAA didn't apply its rule equally.
Oh, so that's his rationale there.
Yes.
So despite the fact that, and then if you vote Baylor in, because Baylor's got a guy that was a first-round pick. But Baylor's having kind of a crap season, so maybe he didn't put Baylor in the top 25.
Right. Baylor's kind of fallen off the map.
Yeah, so, So I guess maybe he thinks that's poetic justice for them too. But I'll be honest, I don't really give a crap what any of these guys think. I take the Nate Oates approach. Like he's doing the best for his team. I'm glad out, and we're home for the University of Alabama here at 97.7. I'm an Alabama fan. Don't give a rat's ass if anybody cares or not. And people know I'm not going to sit here and hide. I don't hide. I'm easy to find. You know what I'm saying? And because I've learned this with these media people, anybody that says that there's people in the media that don't have a bias, you're full of it. You're FOS. Every one of them have some sort of bias. Every one of them have a team they root for. That is the biggest fallacy ever. When I was growing up, you've got to be straight down the line. Bull crap. That's not the way it is. Everybody has favorites. Everybody roots for someone. Okay. Some people hide it. I'm not going to sit here and hide it. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, stick it. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? If you like it, that's great.
Right.
And I try to be fair to everyone.
Right.
Except Tennessee, because I hate them. For obvious reasons, because of maggots like Phil Fulmer. And Tony Vitello, who, by the way, is the Bill Belichick of college baseball. Guy cheated his ass off, but he was a great coach. You know what I'm saying? But I will say, I do like Rick Barnes. And right now, Rick Barnes owns Alabama's ass. I'll sit there and say it. He's won 5 in a row. I'm not going to sit here and run from that either. Right now, he's got Nate Oates' number, man.
Right.
And so
some coaches, that's just how it is.
And right now, they play at the end of February. We'll see if Charles Bediaco's still there, can Alabama go to Knoxville and win? They should have won in Knoxville last year, but they dang sure didn't. And Meshack won the game at the buzzer. So at least I'm truthful in that way. I'm not going to sit here and run from it. But I don't blame Alabama and I thought Blake Lovell had a very reasoned take with it. In other words, I don't care I love the way they want to be convenient with it. Well, Tyron Grant Foster, he should have been eligible anyway because of the JUCO rule. So all of a sudden, if that were Charles Bediaco, it'd be great. Let him play.
Right.
Instead, Alabama, they circumvented the rules. Everybody's circumventing them right now, you peckerheads. I mean, good grief. They all, just like Nate Oates said yesterday, everybody's got pros.
Right.
And I don't care what kind they are. And I thought Richard Hendricks was very forthcoming and educational too, because he kind of told us about the club teams and you don't get a ton of compensation there. And I have heard in certain, European situations, these young guys aren't getting a ton of money, and that's why they want to come to the States. But there are guys like the Najee kid who was making good money overseas, who's now got 4 years of eligibility, and I don't hear people complaining as much about that.
All right, let's get a break, and when we come back, we got to get out to the phone lines, 256-576-4977. That also goes straight into Pat Forty's column as well, basically saying, hey, Greg Sankey's kind of turning his back right now. Ole Miss is being accused of tampering. Clemson calling Ole Miss out. You got the Charles Bediako situation. The SEC's just kind of...
Nobody else is tampering but the SEC. It's just a big bad SEC. Nobody else is here. All is well. Don't look anywhere else. Shut up, Pat, you maggot.
Let's get a break in. Phone lines next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. If you need masonry, brick, stone, or block work, Eagle should be your first call. They can even help if your property needs grading, erosion control, and Eagle can handle dirt haul-off. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road. At Stella at 5 Points, living isn't just about having an apartment, it's about living artfully. Imagine waking up with the upscale feel of Atlanta or Nashville right here in the heart of Huntsville. Modern, stylish apartments, open layouts, stainless steel appliances, and resort-inspired amenities. Nestled in vibrant 5 Points, you'll enjoy walkability, parks, dining, and quick access to downtown without the chaos. Stella at 5 Points. Live artfully. Live Stella.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
But you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Psycho Killer, Escassin.
8:50 on a Wednesday morning, Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We're approaching the end of hour 2. One more hour to go. Let's go out to the phone line, shall we? Good morning. Who we got?
How you doing, man?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, bud? Is this Rick? We want to make sure we got it.
It's Ray.
Ray. Oh, Ray Sibley. What's up, Ray? How you doing?
No, Drew's fired up this morning. See, why don't you let him have that much coffee?
Dude, he don't drink coffee anymore. Coffee goes to one extreme, not to a good extreme.
I told this to somebody the other day, and she was like, "You don't drink coffee?" And I was like, "No."
Coffee ends up in the hospital.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The last time I had coffee several years ago, the next day I collapsed and ended up spending a week in the hospital.
Yeah, we don't.
Scott and I didn't work together for 3 weeks.
We don't do that anymore.
Yeah, we don't. I put a bunch of creamer in it. I drank it. I drank the whole damn cup of coffee, and that's the last cup of coffee I drank.
I mean, we can let him have sugar cookies with all the sugar we want in it, or he can have a 2-liter during a show. Yeah. But he can't do coffee.
No coffee, man.
Isn't the body a wondrous machine?
Yeah. It is. Yeah, you're right. What's on your mind, bro?
You know, it occurs to me, and there are several facets here I kind of want to address, but it kind of all blends together with where you went segment before last when talking about why are we not letting people in the Hall of Fame? It's remarkable to me that the media members are so petty that they look at players who were great and say, you did not help me enough in my career, so I'm going to stonewall your recognition that you were in fact great.
Yeah.
Or these voters.
It was not Barry Bonds' decision for your mother and father to give birth to you so that you went to Northwestern and then got hired right out of college, walking the beat in Chicago in 96.
Or some of these voters decide that they are holier than. I mean, they think they are better than the people they are voting for.
Well, and here's
not to mention the fact
go ahead, Ray.
that these guys have used the media members who then used them to increase circulation and get better jobs. It's a symbiont relationship. The players used them to get better pay. The owners use the players to make more money. The media members use everybody to get more readership, but you're going to be petty.
Well, and here's my thing too. And
it's all the same hypocrisy.
Yeah, there is hypocrisy to it. And I've just said I've never had a Hall of Fame vote in baseball, Ray. But if I did, I would be objective enough to understand. And of course, I was blessed to grow up and see the guy. But look, I know I saw Bonds pre-steroids and then after. He was great both ways, but he was already a Hall of Fame player. You know, Rocket was already a Hall of Fame pitcher. So that's the way I equate it.
Right.
Now, I don't think Sosa and McGuire were Hall of Fame players, and I don't think they would have been without steroids. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he hung up, by the way.
Okay.
We heard the click.
But I think that makes sense to me. That's the way I look at it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll bring up another guy, and you can look it up.
Now, Bill Polian, by the way, is denying that he influenced anybody, denying that he should, quote unquote, serve a 1-year penance for Deflategate and Spygate. But come on, I mean, you may not come out and say I think this should happen, but you can influence the voters. And
I think you ought to be transparent and say why you didn't vote for someone. Okay.
But he said he didn't go out and he denied telling voters, but he said he heard voters float the idea, later adding that he could not remember 100% certainty that he voted for Belichick. So, I mean, just come out and tell us you did it. Just come out and say, look, I don't think he belongs in there.
Yeah. I mean,
at this point,
I think you should be transparent and let everybody know how you voted, and don't be afraid to tell people why. You ought to be able to stand by your convictions. And would I have voted for Belichick? Yes, I would have. Okay. But I understand why people didn't. That was my whole point of what I said. I do think Belichick's a Hall of Fame coach.
Right.
I probably would have voted Jimmy Johnson in sooner too. I don't know. That kind of surprised me that it took as long as it did for Jimmy to get in. Because if anybody, and I know it's not part of your reasoning to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but when you look at what Jimmy did as a college coach, but I'll be honest with you, Jimmy rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Jimmy was very arrogant. When he came from the college level to the NFL level, he was very arrogant.
He admitted leaving his wife one time because of coaching, just because he wanted to coach. It infuriated my dad. I mean, he couldn't stand it. He was like, how can you like somebody or respect somebody that does that? But you have to separate it and understand how good a talent evaluator and how good a coach Hairspray Boy was.
Hairspray Boy. What was it? Aquanet?
Whatever it was.
Aquanet, isn't that?
His hair was so stiff.
Yeah. He says he never used anything in it.
Give me a break.
All right, Pat Forty article next.
Welcome to Kern Electrical, where teamwork powers every project. Our champion sales team takes time to understand your needs, tailoring the perfect Generac generator for your home or business. Our project managers handle all coordination, ensuring a tackle-free installation. Our certified installation crews ensure peace of mind, even in the darkest moments. With our service and maintenance lineups, you can be assured we're with you every step of the way. Experience the home team advantage of Kern Electrical, your Generac superstore.
Most current way to keep the power on. GeneracSuperstore.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement, it's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
It's softball time in Alabama, and the best place for your travel softball team to play is with USSSA. Not only for the best travel team tournaments, but recreational tournaments as well for your high school level softball team. Plus, Alabama softball will host the USSSA National Championship this year at the Gulf Shore and Orange Beach and the Foley Softball Complex. For more information, visit alfastpitch.usssa.com. Check out the schedule at alfastpitch.usssa.com.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
This hour of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by Hyundai Decatur, located on the Beltline.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Hour 3 kicking off now. Hyundai of Decatur helping us get hour 3 underway. Big thank you to them as well. We want to see you drive away in a Hyundai.
Did you know Darian Mensah committed to Miami?
That is the first I'm hearing of that.
Wow.
When did he go into the portal?
Did his sister get a scholarship too?
The next thing you're going to do is you're going to tell me that his number one wide receiver went behind him as well and went to Miami.
Yeah, because Miami needs a upgrade.
I'm rubbing the crystal ball to predict the future.
But Pat Forty's not talking about that.
Nope. Pat Forty, who, by the way, will never get an invite to dinner.
He came on this show once, and it was when Trey Young brought Oklahoma to Alabama in basketball.
Pat Forty putting an article out there basically calling out Greg Sankey. That's the whole entire point of this article, is to call out Greg Sankey. And inside the article, he says, "Where is Greg Sankey?" ? The SEC commissioner, he says, is the most powerful man in college athletics. Someone who has rolled up his sleeves, dug into virtually every major issue in the industry over the last decade plus. Goes on to quote and say that, where is he? Yet he's apparently unable to exert any control over at least a couple of SEC members intent on doing whatever the hell they want, end quote. In referring to Pete Golding from Ole Miss, with the tampering call out from Dabo Swinney and Clemson, and Nate Oates bringing on Charles Bediako, saying that basically Greg Sankey cannot control these two guys, and the SEC is just doing whatever the hell they want.
What's Miami doing to Duke football with their own conference member? Is the Mensa thing and then the wide receivers, that tampering or not? It's a yes or no question.
That is a yes.
Did they probably both sign contracts already with Duke?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He says the league has outlawed traits that were baked in generations ago with skeletons in virtually every SEC closet. But this twin blast of reckless disregard for compliance and protocol is remarkable, even by SEC standards.
Well, I'll just say it's remarkable what a hypocrite Forty is, because there's tampering going on all over collegiate athletics. But of course, he's going to pile on the SEC because that's the only thing he knows how to do. He's got a corn cob up his ass. He's always had one, and somebody can play this audio for him. I don't really give a crap. He won't care, though, because he's one of the most arrogant pricks to walk the planet Earth. He went to the Belichick School of Personality because he thinks he's above everybody else. If you've ever been around Pat Forty, he reeks arrogance because he thinks he's smarter than everybody else, and he's not.
He says on the field of competition, the once dominant SEC has watched 3 different Big Ten schools win the last 3 national championships. The league hasn't even had a participant in the title game during that span.
3 whole years, Scott.
And has a 5-9 playoff record over the last 3 iterations. All claims, he says, and I quote, all claims to superiority have been put to rest until further notice.
Yeah, and then when the SEC returns to the top of the – like, I would ask Pat, though, this. Pat, who's coming off the greatest college basketball season as a conference of anybody ever with your ACC pedigree ass? Because that's what you basically cut your teeth on when you were coming up through the basketball times, and also with Denny Crum in Louisville, who was an independent at the time.
Well, he
was in ACC country. And who had the greatest basketball run last year of all time?
He brings that up. He says coming off its best ever men's basketball season, there is some slippage.
Oh,
he says no SEC team currently ranks in the Ken Palm top 10 compared to 4 from the Big Ten.
Oh, 6 whole months ago. And there's nobody in the top 10.
He said the league is still good, but it's not as dominant as 24-25. But he did say March will tell the full story.
And this is what I would tell for Pat Forty. When's the last time the Big Ten won a college basketball national championship, Peckerhead? It was 2000 in Michigan State. So why do you keep bringing up the Big Ten? Because you're a dickhead. That's why.
So I do want to bring this story up as well, because it does go on the tails of the Pete Golding Clemson saga. Okay.
And is what Pete doing correct? No. But
So
it's going on everywhere, not just the SEC. And Forty's just kind of being convenient in how he's shading things because he hates the SEC because he's a schmuck.
So tell me, is this a good look for Pete Golding or not? I'm going to explain.
No.
Horatio Fields. Did you see this story about Horatio Fields?
He's the former Auburn wide receiver
who went to Missouri, signed a NIL deal, signed to play for the University of Missouri. Okay? Mm-hmm. He has now been released from that contract and will go play for Ole Miss and Pete Golding.
Well, they're Pete Golding will last 3 years and be gone.
But is that,
I don't think he's even going to.
Is that another bad look, though, for Pete Golding coming off of what Dabo Swinney just accused him of doing and exactly what Pat Forty just put in his article?
But others are doing this, and it's not being like publicized.
Right.
I mean, come on. And did Pat Forty happen to talk about the Sharon Moore situation that continues to come out?
No, that was not brought up in that.
I don't really think Pete Golding's being accused of that.
No, he's not.
Tampering's one thing, but your personal life being that of something off TMZ, that's a lot. What's going on from Michigan football is a lot worse than anything going on in the Southeastern Conference. But do you hear Pat Forty talking about that? No, because he's a shill.
So what do we do with this tampering thing? What do we do? Because
there's nothing you can do until there's guardrails put up, man.
Dabo called him out. All these coaches say it's going on. All these coaches sit in front of the mic and they say it's going on. I don't like it. Dabo calls out. He calls out Pete Golding. You get this thing. Duke, Miami does it with Duke.
Well, hold their feet to the fire and don't let them out of the contracts. But they're not doing that. At least they're getting buyouts. But that's just the way it works.
Do you applaud Washington then for standing their ground as much as they did? Because remember, this all started really. You go back. Washington kind of started this by saying, "Hey,
I have no problem with that.
You're not leaving."
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. If Duke had gone ahead and stood their ground and said, "Look, Mensa, we're paying you X, like $4 million, 3.5, whatever it is, and we're not letting you out," then amen. Okay, but they decided they didn't want to fight this, this battle it's very public. So they decided to have a buyout and a mediation. That's just the choice you make. But I will say this, there needs to be guardrails. And then if you sign a contract, to me, and that's the thing with that irritated me with the Hollywood Smothers situation in Alabama, he didn't sign it. Now, if it's just a commitment and you ain't got nothing signed, that's one thing. But to me, if you sign something, there shouldn't be a buyout. There shouldn't be a way to do that. But that's where we are right now. You can buy out a guy. At least they're getting their money back, so to speak.
Okay.
Because, look, buy the contract out, let him go somewhere else. But I will say this, if I'm a coach and I got a kid that's not going to be committed to me fully, in other words, we signed you, we showed interest in you, and yet now you're coming to tell me I want out, I want to buy out, I want to leave. Get the hell out of here, because I'm not going to get everything you got anyway. You're going to go out there, drop 3 balls, and then come back, and then you're going to catch a touchdown the next week. Hey, dog, I need $50,000. Get the hell out of my office. All right. I want somebody that's trying to win football games, and at least I can count on that's not going to be all about the money. Everybody wants to get paid. I understand
that's true.
that.
That's true.
But you want somebody that's also committed to you and committed to winning and not committed to the almighty dollar, and that's it. Because guess what? If you end up like that, you're Texas, and that's what they were this year with 4 L's. They spent a ton of money, and guess what Kentucky's doing right now in basketball?
$20-some million. $20-some million. You get the crap beat out of you in Nashville last night.
And on Kentucky Sports Radio, they found some video before the game. I guess the Kentucky team was chanting cash money.
No, some money up or money out or get money.
It said cash money, give me that money or something.
Yeah, something. It was some money related issue. They were right before they took to the floor and they did their little thing or whatever.
Well,
they were talking about money. Yeah. Let's get a break in. 9-10. Get a break in. 256-576-4977. Go to the phone lines real fast when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. When you need service on your vehicle, whether it's a Ford or any other make, you want to get into Woody Anderson Ford, where their expert service technicians will get it diagnosed and repaired right away, the right way. And while you are there, check out all the new and pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson as well. They are ready to make you the best deal possible. Visit Woody Anderson Ford today.
Woody Anderson Ford on Jordan Lane in Huntsville, Hughes Road in Madison, and online at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Four-time Grammy-nominated Joe Bonamassa, hailed as one of the world's greatest guitar players. Blues rock titan Joe Bonamassa, performing live March 19th at the BBC Mark C. Smith Concert Hall. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Joe Bonamassa. Every show is a new experience.
Hey, I'm Bobby White, now with Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur, where we're jump-starting January with low rates, low payments, and low prices on a great selection of new Fords. Right now, you can get 2.9% financing for 60 months, plus $2,000 customer cash on 25 F-150s, or choose $4,000 in total rebates instead. We've got new 25 Explorers with 2.9% APR for 60 months, plus $1,500 in total cash. Get 4.9% financing for 60 months on your choice of any new 25 Ford Bronco. Or choose a $2,000 customer cash bonus to get a new 25 Bronco Sport starting at under $29,000. And there's never any hidden markups or dock fees. We hope to see you soon at Lynn Layton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline in Decatur, or online anytime at lynnlaytonford.com. All offers on select new Ford models with your good credit. Bronco Sport stock number example 27715T. See us for all the details.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Touch money! Then lose by 20.
That's what Kentucky. I'd say a reaction pouring in on Bill Belichick. Jimmy Johnson says, as a Hall of Fame coach, I think Bill Belichick is the greatest of all time. Yes, he had a great quarterback, but we all did. He won after the salary cap, free agency plus. I know how much he loves the NFL and the game. I'm pissed. Ryan Leaf is a Hall of Fame quarterback voter, or a Hall of Fame voter. He says, I am one of the voters who did not vote for Coach Belichick. It comes time that if you are able to penetrate the walls of the voting ilk, yours or anyone's resentments can be fueled with revenge. Tom ain't getting in either. Lose to Foles? No way, no how. That was Ryan Leaf 1 hour ago.
But you can't. I mean, look, and here's the thing with Brady, though. You know what cancels that out? Going to Tampa and winning it the first year and helping B.A. Bruce Arians win a Super Bowl, okay? And then a deep playoff run his second year, and I believe his final season in Tampa. You can't overlook all that. All right. And I know he was up to his neck in Deflategate and probably Spygate too, but And again, he should have lost the Super Bowl to Seattle. But
now it comes out he is not a member that votes.
No, I mean, you can't not vote for Tom Brady. That's just insane.
He put that out, and I guess it was the real Ryan Leaf account.
Yeah.
But Ryan Leaf does not have a Hall of Fame vote, just to show that. Okay.
I know he's in the media and he's carved out a niche for himself. And I so in other words, what you're trying to tell me was that whole thing was fake.
But it was the real Ryan Leaf account. He actually, it is
he didn't vote.
Right. He's saying he voted, but he doesn't vote.
You know what you just said? That doesn't make a damn bit of sense.
He's saying he voted, but he doesn't actually have a vote.
Yeah, well, he's just telling you how he would have voted. He didn't really vote.
Right, but he says he did. He says, I am one of the Hall of Fame voters who didn't vote for him. He puts that in his tweet.
I thought you were telling me he does not have a Hall of Fame vote.
He doesn't.
Okay.
But he is saying he does.
My head hurts. I don't know.
Ryan Leaf is telling you he does have a vote, but in reality, he does not have a vote. He's trying to fool everyone, I guess.
Brandon, what kind of sense does that make? My head hurts. I don't really understand what that means.
So did he vote before or after he took his nose off the mirror?
I don't know.
Okay, just wanted to double check there.
Yeah.
So it's been a fun morning this morning. Go to the courthouse doing tax appraisal appeal hearings this morning.
Oh,
and
Lord.
Got to see a knockdown, drag-out fist fight right there in the foyer.
In the foyer, you saw a fist fight. Now, who was fist fighting? Was this two, this wasn't two lawyers or anything, or what? Who was it?
It was a lady in a yellow pullover and a lady in a Georgia State T-shirt. And the lady in the Georgia State T-shirt got punched in the face so hard that she went from looking like Diana Ross to Elmo in about 3 seconds, because when that hairpiece came off, it looked like something from Doctor Strange.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
Yeah, it was I tell you this, it was better than the $50 I paid after I mowed 3 yards back in like 95 for the Mike Tyson, Peter McNeely fight.
Oh, wow. To see Iron Mike fight. Oh,
yeah, when he got out of prison. We watched that the week before school started back that Saturday. That was when school started going from September 1st back and into August. But there was more action in that than there was in that fight. So I have to put that there. But y'all were talking about reclassification with Alabama. Georgia did a couple years ago what Alabama has done, where they separate the public and the private in the postseason.
Right.
And the big push for that over here wasn't necessarily football. It was other sports, because we went to the state championship last year and we got to the Final Four, the Elite Eight the year before.
Yeah.
And we played in Atlanta school. And when we got down there and when you look at their roster, none of the kids, I think 6 of their starters were all from Cuba and the Dominican Republic, and none of them had gone to school there before 8th grade.
Gotcha.
And they didn't even speak much English in the dugout. They were incredible baseball players. I mean, they were really good. They whooped us like we didn't belong to be there. But that's what people wanted to put a stop to.
Gotcha.
And then you got some basketball players which this guy's legit. He waited his time over here at Darlington High School. I think he dunked about 20 times on us last night. I'm talking about like massive monster dunks.
Yeah.
To the point to where it was just like hang your head. And this kid's from Nigeria.
Ah.
He's huge. He's got his cousin that's with him that's from Nigeria too. And they just take turns alley-ooping each other all night. I wish I had a video of how bad we got our butt kicked last night, because it was bad. It was real bad.
Yeah.
So that's what a lot of people over here are trying to put a stop to, because they're tired of playing against that in the postseason. So I believe it's our 1 through 3A play each other in state championship in football and baseball, and then like 4, 5, and 6 compete against each other. But that we went that model. I think they implemented it 2 years ago, and it took effect this last year for us to be able to do that. And it's made a big change, because, your Steve Moulton schools like Marist and all of them in Atlanta, you're never going to shut those monsters down. Those guys are going to be Elite Eight, Final Four in just about every sport they play in every year. I mean, they've got kids down there that their parents pull up to sporting events in 2 different cars that cost more than most people's houses and those kids specialize in it. They got a coach that's been there. Like he's all-time winningest in the state of Georgia. He's been there like 40 years. And they run the wing tee and triple option down there. And they run the same offense from the time you're first grade to the time you graduate. But that was the whole point of doing that, was to get away from that. And I know there are people in Alabama that are tired of playing some of the private schools, but most of y'all state championships in the big sports are won by public schools, correct?
Yeah, for the most part, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, y'all don't necessarily have, you look at your football state championships and private schools are winning 4 of the 7, correct?
Well, I mean, like Mars Hill won the 3A this year. And Terry Curtis won several at UMS Wright. Not this season. He's retired and he's now on the central board, but he's won several, no doubt about it. Mobile Christian beat Madison Academy a couple of years ago. In your smaller classifications, 4A and below, there's been a lot of private schools winning. Not every year, but winning.
Yeah. Class 7A, the biggest class, generally dominated by public schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the 7A schools, of the 7A schools this year, I'm looking at it right now. I don't think there was any private schools. Mary G. Montgomery, I think that's a private one.
No,
right?
it's
public.
They're public.
Okay, so no private schools, I don't think, made it in the 7A playoffs this year.
Yeah, I think like Brandon, what it is like it's basically 4A and below. Even though Jackson's had a really good run in 4A the last couple of years, but it starts basically in 4A. Your smaller classifications, you have some of, even though death taxes and the Fife Red Devils, they certainly
6A was all public finals. 5A was all public finals. Yeah.
Well, like we got Benedictine down around Savannah. That's like a 600 or 700 Roma all boys school.
Yeah.
And they're hell to deal with in football every year. And a lot of people really want to get rid of them. But when you look at like your Thomas County Centrals that went there and just annihilated Coach Niblett, who had a great football team, and you look at Marietta and Buford, them, even these private schools don't want none of that. They don't want that smoke. So roll tide.
All right, thanks, man. We got to get a break in. When we come back, Ryan Fowler's on the other side. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. It's going to be another cold night across the Tennessee Valley. We're dropping into the mid-20s. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Still going to be cold across the area. Highs only climbing into the lower 40s, dropping into the mid-upper 20s as we head into the overnight early Friday morning. A partly sunny sky Friday afternoon, climbing into the upper 30s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's softball time in Alabama, and the best place for your travel softball team to play is with USSSA. Not only for the best travel team tournaments, but recreational tournaments as well for your high school level softball team. Plus, Alabama softball will host the USSSA National Championship this year at the Gulf Shore and Orange Beach and the Foley Softball Complex. For more information, visit alfastpitch.usssa.com. Check out the schedule at alfastpitch.usssa.com.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at dan That is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. Taking care of your property yourself can be a real headache. Eagle can handle it for you. They offer full landscaping services, irrigation, mowing, bush hog, and can install plants and trees, sod, and even landscape borders. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Welcome to the Space Jam.
9:27 on a Wednesday morning. Talking Ball rolling right along. Final 33 minutes of the Wednesday show. It's been entertaining as always. Time to cap it off with our final guest of the morning.
Yeah, no doubt. And he's always entertaining. He's a North Alabama native. He grew up here in our neck of the woods, no doubt about it. And he's a proud alum of, I don't think you'd mind me saying this, to the Susan Moore High School. And he's also the longtime host of The Game, which is the longest running radio show in the City of Champions in Tuscaloosa. A lot to discuss and a lot of conversation about Nate Oates, Alabama basketball, Charles Bediako, but then also some changes of the coaching staff for Kalen DeBoer going into year 3. We talked about it yesterday a little bit. Adrian Clem, the new offensive line coach of the Crimson Tide. We wanted to bring Ryan Fowler back into the conversation. Ryan, good morning. How are you, sir?
Hey, good morning to you guys. I hope all is well. And hey, we're counting down. We only have 220 days away from Alabama, East Carolina. So we got to get on our mind very, very quickly.
Yeah, and we're even less. It's very, very close to. I know they haven't announced, I don't guess the exact dates, but spring football will be right around the corner, and there'll be a lot to study and digest for spring football heading into year 3 for Kalen DeBoer, because we're all going to need a roster sheet, and then the coaching staff. We've seen some changes to it, not complete yet, which is interesting as well.
Yeah, I think that's the big question that Kalen DeBoer will be asked today at 5 o'clock down at the Senior Bowl. Is you have a vacancy, right? Tight end. Now you could promote from within, or they could add another piece. When we look at Adrian Clem, I look at this hire. I'd heard a lot of different names, and that's one of the reasons why you've got to be very calculated of who you throw out there. Listen, I heard Brandon Jones at Missouri.
That's the one I heard.
Option.
Yep.
I heard Michigan State's offensive line was an option. I mean, I was hearing all types of names, but sometimes you get down to the root of it, and then you find out Adrian Clem. Initially, you don't know a lot about him, but then you just have to understand, guys, going into year number 3, this is probably more important. And this is going to be hard to say because you must have a quarterback. It's a quarterback-driven league. But it's right up there with a quarterback. Because if this offensive line is as bad as what it was last year, then year number 3 under Kalen DeBoer is not going to be a successful one, because the offensive line is a total rebuild. And it's a rebuild from the 4 out of the 5. You get Michael Carroll back. You've added some competition pieces for the guys that you already had here. But this is probably one of the most important hires Kalen DeBoer's made in his first 3 years in Tuscaloosa.
And Ryan, you mentioned that, and obviously the offensive line, a subject Alabama has gone out and brought in. There's not going to be any shortage linemen for spring practice to kind of compete with there once we get back underway.
Yeah, and I think that's the really the big combination is the calendar has moved around so much, and it kind of boxes you in to hire coaches at this time, because I know people were screaming at this, right? You got to do it, 24 hours after the Rose Bowl. Okay, I get that, but the problem is you can't do it,
right?
Because you got to go out and recruit offensive linemen. I mean, could you imagine just for a minute now? Unless you go hire a coach from a school and you bring him in and he brings 3 out of his 5 with him. Okay, I get that. But you just don't hire 2 days, 3 days. You've got to go through the portal period. And it's like you're selling something. And I don't know if there's conversations. I don't know if there's transparency. Hey, listen, you may come to Alabama, but we may not have the guy that's recruiting you, because you want to know who your offensive line coach is. And immediately, portal period closed, all the options are done, you got all those guys in, then you make a change. But listen, you could say, well, it was hiding. Alabama hid that from their offensive linemen. Listen, you would have to be at the low end of the IQ to realize that Alabama was not going to replace the offensive line coach. So you don't want those guys anyway. That there had to be a change. And I wonder, our good friend Rodney Orr wrote an article a couple of weeks ago, and it was talking about adding more beef on the line of scrimmage. This is a line of scrimmage league. You've got to be able to go out and beat people in the trenches. If you don't win the trenches, you're not going to win the football game. And I wonder if Kalen DeBoer has adjusted some to this league. Coming in, you probably think, well, I think I know what we can do. But after playing, the Georgia game, you almost want to go over and thank the Dogs for kind of exposing your weakness, because it showed you the barometer of where you've got to be able to get to play dominating football in the Southeastern Conference. If you can't win the line of scrimmage, I don't care who you have at quarterback. Doesn't matter. I mean, listen, Ty Simpson's going to be a first-round guy. And I know he was hurt and banged up in the latter part of the season, but it doesn't matter if you have as bad of an offensive line as Alabama. This offensive line was one of the worst that I've seen in a long time in Tuscaloosa. It was awful. No run protection, no run blocking, no pass protection. Like, I don't know what they were good at other than putting on their jerseys.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a very good point. And it also, I'm going to be interested to see how he's approached, how he's asked, because the other part of this team, I mean, both lines of scrimmage had issues. And then we see late last night, Ryan, this was relatively late. This was toward the end of the Alabama-Missouri beatdown in Coleman Coliseum. We saw Jamie Mosley, the brother of CJ, former linebacker at Alabama. He had been basically an analyst / assistant defensive line coach to Freddie Roach. He is now going to work for Andrew Luck and Stanford to coach their defensive line. So that's yet another tweak that we've seen. And I was already hoping to see, maybe some new blood in that room. Now, I'm not confident that Freddie Roach will be moving on, but I can't say that with certainty. But I'll just say that to me, the next two most obvious areas are defensive line and then special teams, which definitely we've seen a lot of change there in the room from the portal. But from a standpoint of coaching, I thought was severely lacking.
Yeah, I look at, but you've also got to be fair. Okay, that unit went through a lot of injuries on the defensive front. I know you can't say that
the defensive
last
line,
year, but I also think that you saw some guys really step up, right? I mean, look at London Simmons. I've got a friend of mine
freshman.
that coaches against him in Mississippi, or coached against him in the playoff game. And he said his wake-up call for college football, that it had changed, because he had played against him I believe in the playoffs or the latter part of the season last year. And he said, okay, I look at a 3-star guy who was a late enrollee. In the first game, he's out there playing for Alabama in a significant part of the game. He said, that was my wake-up call, that college football has changed when I see a guy like London Simmons. London Simmons would probably have been a guy that would have took 2 years to get on the field in normal circumstances. So you must give Freddie Roach that credit. Going back to Jamie Mosley for just a couple of minutes, Jamie's been a part of this program. We've watched him walk on.
Yeah.
We watched him earn a scholarship. I'm happy for Jamie. Jamie and I have actually spent a little bit of time hunting together with your boss, Mr. Wes Neighbors. Jamie's been down there many, many times to Mr. Brian Hard's place, and I'm happy for Jamie to get this opportunity. I do know that they are going to bring in another option there, maybe at that analyst spot or a trial in the spring. You know, somebody's going to be returning back from a former NFL perspective. They're not ready to release that. But I think at some point we'll get a pretty good list of maybe some comprehensive guys. But guys, they've still got a coach to hire with a tight end. And you wonder if they're going to tweak anything else. You know, you looked at the offensive line part of things. Yes, that was my biggest disappointment. But you know what number 2 was? Special teams. Special teams. Go to look at Bill Conley's special teams ranking. There was only one other team in the SEC that was worse in special teams than Alabama. The only thing that I think Alabama did well was punt return. And that was Cole Adams catching the ball, not actually, moving it, down the field, not really picking up a lot of positive yards, just catching the ball. Other than the Auburn fumble, it really, they were dead last in the SEC in punting. Okay, so they did a poor job of evaluating in the offseason. They had to go and scramble because the guy that they had signed had a knee injury. Alex Aspernoff, is that how you say it?
Yeah, I was going with Asperov. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you signed him, and you've got a knee injury to him. Okay, I get that. That's stuff that you don't plan when you go sign one of the best punters coming out of high school. So you get that. But to me, special teams, you've got to address that. Some way, somehow, you've got to upgrade. If it has to be a collaborative effort and help Jay Nunez out, or you move on. But that's got to be, it's got to be addressed. That special teams was, it did not. I mean, there's 3 phases of the game for a reason. You look at Connor Talty, the struggles. Now, he did come on in the late part of the season, was a little bit more consistent in some of those kicks. But kickoff return, punt return, kickoff coverage, Alabama was not very good in the special teams department. And Bill Conley, he had it at 108 in the country, but 15 out of 16 in as far as unit of special teams. That's another area that must be addressed because it's a phase of the game. The parity is so close. Look at the NFL. Special teams, because they have so much parity and it's so close, you must have good special teams. It's an area now that'll get you beat quicker than probably what it did 5 or 10 years ago.
Well, throw on top of all that, you mentioned how big of a year this is for Kalen DeBoer, year number 3. And Ryan, this year, year number 3, this will be all Kalen DeBoer's quarterbacks to choose from. He walked into the Jalen Milroe situation. Ty Simpson was there under Nick Saban and previous, Nick Saban. Now, I mean, it's Keelan Russell, it's Austin Mack. I mean, this is going to be
Jet Tamala.
This is the guys he recruited. These are his quarterback choices going into this year.
And before Ryan answers, I will say this. If there's one thing that you got to give Kalen DeBoer credit for, I know he attacked the portal with Penix and was going to with his next QB, but I will say he has done a nice job getting Milroe to the NFL. I think, Ryan, you already mentioned Ty being a first rounder, and then recruiting in the room and bringing in his own people.
Yes. And this is the area that I think the majority of Drew knows this, Scott, you know this because we cover it every single day. And there's a lot of smart fans that know this. But I'm talking about the ones who just watch the game and don't really follow throughout the offseason. When Kalen DeBoer arrived here, this offensive line room was depleted. The defensive back room was depleted. He has rebuilt those areas, and he's done it with limited NIL resources, okay? And I say limited, it's probably pretty much just average. But it's not like Texas where they go
Texas
and buy
A&M,
this
Texas Tech,
particular player, Texas A&M, Texas Tech. Now you're seeing LSU be a little bit more committed to the NIL. But Georgia's another program that is right there with Alabama, that they don't have just bukus of money that they can just throw out. So you've had to rebuild it with limited opportunities. The portal period, when he arrived, you had to go to the late portal period to rebuild some of those guys. They were able to get some of those pieces of the puzzle. But they've done it this year. I like what they've done at the offensive side of the football and the offensive line because they've added pieces that can play multiple positions. It's very similar to what you see on Sunday afternoon in the NFL. You got a guy that can be versatile. He can play a tackle. He can play a guard. But you've added competition. I don't know if there's one position on that offensive line that doesn't have multiple guys that you feel pretty comfortable that they can give you some things. I like what this offensive line has been able to do because you can go out and spend $5 million on a left tackle and he could twist his ankle or a knee injury. And then here you go. Boom, boom. In the time that you're limited, the programs that don't have the unlimited resources, you got to be very, very calculated in how you spend your money. Yeah, you can go out and buy one player, but if that one player has an injury, there goes $5 million right down the tube. So you've got to be calculated, and I think Alabama was. I know they could have went out and done more. I would have loved to have been able to see them pick up a running back. I thought maybe one more wide receiver would have been nice, but they checked the box with a good blocking tight end. You like that, but on the offensive line, they think that they've added enough pieces of the puzzle that's going to create. Plus, the guys, you got to remember, they signed a big offensive line class in 2024. So you've got those guys. You've seen Michael Carroll, but there's some other guys. We're going to see if Jackson Lloyd is ready to take that next step at the collegiate game.
Yeah, we are. And guys like Casey Poe still there. He's kind of been waiting his turn. I know he was highly thought of as a center guard prospect. We'll see if he can take that next step because it's still a developmental position. There's no doubt about it. Now I wanted to switch gears. I know you have a really good relationship with Nate Oates. I mean, you cover the Alabama basketball program. That program and its popularity in the last 7 years has exploded. It's become a huge topic of conversation on your show. I'm very interested to know. I've been adamant, and we probably got enough of my rants to fill TikTok for a month. This week about the hypocrisy that's going around, the reaction in the country around college basketball. How has it been locally with Nate Oates and Charles Bediako coming back to the program?
Well, there's been a lot of reaction, and I think that you can both have the rules, okay? You must understand, and I'm also split too, because you're looking at it, you're going, yes, you're bringing a pro player back. But then if you start diving in, a lot of these teams are bringing professional athletes back to the college game. So you have to decipher, for one, what is a pro athlete? Go back to Colorado back in the early 2000s when they brought back Jeremy Bloom, right? It was a wide receiver that was
from Colorado.
Olympian.
And there was a complete meltdown, right? And whether he was an amateur athlete or whether he was a professional athlete, and then all the different things around that. But if you look at it, it's nobody is following any rules. I don't care what rule we have. We're going 85 and a 55. And if Dabo that exposed the NCAA case, if they don't do anything with it, we'll now go 105 in a 55. Because the world will say, guys, we don't have an enforcement staff. There are no rules in college football. And I think Nate Oates did it to help his basketball team, number one. Okay? I really do. I think he did it to help his basketball team. But I think the number two reason behind him, I think he wanted to expose what is happening in college basketball. Because think about what has happened with this conversation. We've also unraveled the professional athlete coming from Europe. Have we not?
Yeah.
I mean, there's more people know about that because the Charles Bediako situation than probably anybody else. I think if Nate Oates would be transparent, number one, he wanted to help his basketball team out. Number two, I think he wanted to show you what is happening in college basketball. And I think they've done that. I think they've checked that box. But it's crazy. Listen, we're not following any rules in college sports in general. There's supposed to be a revenue share model currently that's supposed to be abided by right now in college football, basketball, all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
But when I can go out and get Patrick Mahomes to do an autograph signing cheaper than I can a collegiate player, that's not fair market value. Because what they're doing is they're paying these players and they're going, well, I'm going to pay $1.7 million for an offensive lineman to do an autograph signing. Guys, I can get Patrick Mahomes to do an autograph signing cheaper than I can some of these players that are transferring to other schools.
Wow.
Just be transparent about it. Nobody's following any rules in college football. And some of that is the poor administration that we have had. Greg Sankey, I like you, but I think you've been a poor leader the last few years. Tony Petit, I think you've been a poor leader. And I know Kevin Warren was there. Big 12, ACC, we must put accountability back to the administrators. For too long, we've given them a forgiveness. And we've just, oh, yeah, no problem. They're the ones who created the monster. So if you want to be unhappy with what has happened in college athletics, we must lay it at the feet of these administrators. Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, it's your fault that we're in the mess because you guys just kept kicking the can down the street till there was no street left. And this is where we've ended up here in 2025 and 2026.
Yeah, it's a very complicated time. There's no doubt.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's really good stuff, Ryan. It's going to be a very interesting conversation on the game later today, and you'll have more stuff. I know it'll be later in the show, but Kalen DeBoer will speak on the record. Being in Tuscaloosa last night, a lot of beat writers are down in the Senior Bowl. Interesting, though, a lot of about 5 of the 8 have opted out of the Senior Bowl. I think a lot of that is probably injury related for Alabama down in Mobile.
Yeah, I opted out too. I was down at the Senior Bowl. No, I did. I just decided to come on back. Tuscaloosa.
Wes and Steve aren't down there either.
Well, and you'll believe this or not, but I thought the eyes of college sports was on the Charles Bediako case. So I came back to cover that event.
Wow.
A lot of our team is down at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
I came back, left 74-degree weather to come up here to freeze my butt off, and then the NCAA's lazy butt wouldn't even come and get in a plane and fly down to Tuscaloosa to defend the hearing. Okay.
Wow.
We offered to go get them in the 4-wheel drive Tundra. They refused it. We were going to go get them. They said they couldn't get to Tuscaloosa. We were going to fix that problem. They didn't want to be in Tuscaloosa because they wanted this to drag on for another 10 days and get more publicity.
Wow.
That's the corruption that we call the NCAA. If they're for it, I'm against it. Coach Stallings said it. I agree with it. You guys have a great morning. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ryan. Let's get that final break in. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The crimson and white jerseys.
Front court to the rack and the plunge.
The sound of a buzzer beater.
Got it to go as the buzzer sounds.
The Roll Tide chant from the crowd. It can only be Alabama basketball. Join the Alabama Crimson Tide right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, Maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
The End Zone Sports Bar has done it again. This time, they're bringing their jumbo wings, handcrafted burgers, Tex-Mex, and New York-style pizza to the Midtown District with their new location on McMurtry Drive Northwest opposite the Target Plaza. Tuesdays at the End Zone means half-price burgers, and Wednesday is $1 jumbo wings all day long. The End Zone also features Sunday ticket for all your NFL viewers. The newest End Zone Sports Bar in the Midtown District on McMurtry near the Target Plaza. Get in the End Zone.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
1, 2, 3, My baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure.
Wrapping all of this up on a Wednesday morning that sees us a little chill. I mean, it's chilly. It's cold outside.
It's not frigid. It's chilly.
It's 31 degrees. The high today is 43. So, I mean, it's not too bad. It's better than where we've been. It's not as cold as where we're going to go.
Oh, Lord, you're bringing up Saturday again.
No, I'm bringing up Saturday and Sunday. But those are the lows, though. I mean, Friday's going to be 39, high Saturday. I mean, look.
What's it going to be the low Saturday? 10?
13, 11 Sunday. I mean, look, you're just going to have to bundle up and be a little bit cold. But we're going to end the show with some more NFL news. The Cleveland Browns.
Breaking news.
Yep, Cleveland
the Fighting
Browns.
Abrahams hired their head coach.
Todd Monken. Going to be the head coach. Previously, the Ravens offensive coordinator.
There you go. Same division. Former Georgia offensive coordinator. He's worked his way back up from after the unmitigated disaster of being the Southern Miss head coach.
Isn't that funny, though? Because, look, Brian Dable gets the Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator. Todd Monken gets the Cleveland Browns head coach. Todd Monken, when he was at Georgia Bulldog fans were like, we got to get rid of him. Yeah, we don't like him. Brian Dable, when he was at Alabama, Bama fans, got to get rid of him. We don't like him.
Well,
I mean, it was split. It was split.
I think Monken grew on the Georgia fans. Now they're just wanting to get rid of Bobo a second time,
right?
And they'd love to have Todd back, but he did a solid job with the Ravens. It was thought he was going to go with John Harbaugh to the Giants. We know John Harbaugh got hired by New York, but now Todd Monken gets to be the head football coach of one of the worst organizations in professional sports, and that's when you have a Haslam as an owner, and he's a Tennessee maggot. That's what you get is a bunch of orange and losing.
It all comes back to Tennessee, does it not?
It does. It always does. And by the way, I didn't get to mention this before Fowler had to go. You know where that lawyer was coming from to do that for the hearing?
One of the many lawyers that they have. Yeah, he was coming from Nashville.
From Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes. One of the lawyers on the case is from Nashville. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we've done it 3 days. We've got 2 more to go.
We're going to be talking some basketball tomorrow.
Yeah, UAH got a double dip tomorrow at Lee.
They got Lee, and then they got
Trevecca.
And that's some interesting matchup, a road swing for UAH. Yep. Well, and I'm anxious to get their thoughts, Coach Sharp and Coach Hedgepeth, on that doubleheader last week. And then we'll be talking the private school angle with David Lloyd of the Randolph Raiders tomorrow.
We're back at it 7 a.m. tomorrow, Talking Ball. See ya.